It's raining subs. Oh man, welcome everybody to the Escape Champions League, Middle East 1v1 semi and grand finals. I am back. It has been a while, and I am very, very happy to be presenting the show today because, oh boy, it is going to be one heckin' good show. I can tell you that for free. I won't even charge you to tell you that. That's just info right there. Killer B, I can hear you shuffling some papers around in the background. I know you're a note taker, but welcome.
Hey man, it's good to be here. Excited for these games.
Yeah, I mean, seriously, there's so much hype today. I mean, that song, you know, Taser, the Age of Empires song, it gets me hyped. Every time I hear it, I just can't help but get excited. And I'm also very excited because we're going to have some fantastic games. We'll talk about that in a moment. But I'm also really excited because you're here, man. When was the last time we cast together?
It's been way too long. I know you've been out there pounding the pavement, doing a lot of hard work, and I've been doing some hard work here in Sweden, so it's been a while. It's been way too long.
Yeah, it has, and I'm really looking forward to casting with you today. And of course, we'll be casting the first two sets, and then we will be joined by Member and Resonance 22 for the grand finals later on this evening. But oh boy, what a great tournament this has been so far, and we should talk about the meaning behind today's games, because I think there's a lot on the line here. Real quick before we do that though, I just want to thank T90, Nilly and Memb for doing all of the streaming stuff when I was away. I've been away for about 3 weeks now, traveling around, doing some work. I went to TwitchCon, and so I haven't been here to produce the show myself, but I've been very thankful to those guys for stepping up and helping to support the channel and run the stream in my absence. So thank you to those guys, really appreciate that. We'll be getting things started very soon with Nicov versus TaToH, but Killer B, I don't know if you saw the games last week, but we had some phenomenal games.
Yeah, I did see the bulk of the matches, and I was really impressed. It's just a testament to the way this is set up, this league. I mean, because different players are rotating in and out on different settings, we're getting a lot of good drama out of it. And I'm excited for these two matchups today. I think there's actually some really cool storylines here as we go into the semifinals and finals.
Hell yeah, man. I couldn't say that better myself. Storylines, that's what I'm seeing right here. Nicov, TaToH, Tim backed. There's so much here that we could talk about. I don't want to spend too long because I do know you guys want to get into the games. But let's just take a quick look at the standings and take special note of where, well, actually my overlays aren't changing, but there we go. Take note of where AM is right now. They're in 4th position, tied with VNA. A win here in the semis for either Backed or Nicov would really put these two teams back in the running, I suppose you could say. Aftermath especially have been a little surprising to a lot of people, struggling to get points up there, struggling to get far in any of these brackets. But a second or a first place win here would really catapult them up that scoreboard and make them competitive again. And I think that's what the community wants to see from AM. Of course, then we have VNA, who are tied in 4th at the moment. If Backed is able to pull out a good game here, then he can also put his team up the scoreboard. And Killer B, frantic, Tim. Not only did he knock out Leary last week, but if he knocks out Backed, he's going to put Frantic in a very competitive spot with SY, who haven't made it to the semifinals here.
Yeah, this is a good chance for everybody to gain a little bit of ground on SY. Interestingly, not represented in the semis, as you said, so they'll lose a little ground. Lots of drama with Tim taking that win versus Leary last week. That was really an amazing set of games as well. Yeah, I mean, everybody has some money, has some interest on the line. Of course, everybody needs to win and get these points as they move forward through the tournament. But I think there's a little pressure on Nicov, Zach. I expected Leary to be here in the semifinals and Nicov, and I expected Aftermath to gain a lot of points on the teams that are ahead of them. But now Nicov kind of needs to convert this into a finals and maybe even a win for his team. I think they really need the points.
Absolutely. You know, it's kind of like if you watch rugby or American football, you know, they've got to the semis, they've scored the touchdown, now they need to convert it into a victory to score the big points as well and make the difference, I suppose. But let's take a look. Our first match today, Nicov versus TaToH, and here are the maps. It is a best of 5, and I mean, I'm so excited. Nicov, TaToH, best of 5. I'm not going to lie, Nicov is one of my favorite players of all time. I always get excited watching Nicov play. And of course, we know TaToH to be the master strategist, the player that thinks outside of the box and is able to make even the most crazy situations work out in his favor. So really excited for that. And we're going to be starting on Dry River. Do you have any thoughts about the map pool in particular, just in general?
I think I've had a lot of fun watching these games last week. I like that there is a little bit of diversity here. Mediterranean, I know not everybody loves maps with a lot of water, but that makes it a lot of fun because some of the other maps are pretty open. They're pretty non-water maps and pretty aggressive. We've seen a lot of games won in the feudal age, at least out of the matches I was watching from last week. So, you know, don't look away for too long. If you need to get a break for water, the game could be over in the feudal age on many of these maps.
Yeah, and that's what's so exciting about this map pool. They're all hyper-aggressive maps, and we'll be getting into Game 1 in just a second. But before we do that, real quick, guys, to thank you all for your support of the tournament, I just threw out about 150 subs to the chat, and you can also use those subs to get bonus entries into our latest giveaway. We are giving away an HTC Vive Pro. It's like worth like $1.5 grand or something. That it's like the future. The future is here. If you've not used a virtual reality headset, you got to do it. It's absolutely amazing. Honestly, I got an HTC Vive a couple of years ago and absolutely loved the thing. And then they released the HTC Vive Pro, and I've not tried it, but if it's a step up from the HTC Vive, that thing is going to be insane. You can actually enter the competition to win one of those for yourself for free. All you have to do is click on the little poster below the stream, and you can enter there. You can enter for free by following the channel, subscribing to us on YouTube, following us on social media, and if you're subscribed, you can also get some bonus entries as well, and that's why we chucked out, I don't know, I lost count of how many subs I dropped in the chat, but there might be some more coming later on when my payment details don't get blocked. But anyway, I actually got blocked by Twitch. It's like, you're spending too much money, stop now. For your own good, just don't do it, man.
Well, it's probably unusual for somebody to have 150 subs in the course of 5 minutes. So, yeah, they probably flagged them a little. But yeah, awesome, man. It was so cool to see those subs coming in. People were getting hyped about it, and pretty awesome to hear about some HTC action going on. But I'm sure people are ready for the matches, and I'm sure they're pumped about the giveaways. So glad to be here again with you, Zach. Whenever you're ready, my friend, I am so pumped over here.
Oh yeah, we're going to do it. Dry River game number 1, Sunburn game number 2, Mediterranean game 3, and if we get to it, Bedouins and Arabia 4 and 5. I'm also hyped to be living in a cardboard box for the next few months, but we're going to be getting our first game underway in just a hot second over here as Robo launches up, and we're going to jump in here with Nicov versus TaToH. Oh boy, oh boy. I hope you guys are ready for this. This is going to be a really nice set of games. Just the names alone are getting me pumped.
Yes, indeed. And here we are in game number 1, Zach.
Well, you might be in. I'm not in yet.
Oh, no.
I don't know what's going on, but we tested it before. It was working, but I'm going to rejoin the lobby real quick because my game has crashed. Thanks, HD. Just give me a sec, and I'll catch up to you once I'm back in. Hopefully, Robo hasn't changed the room password, and we can jump straight in here. Apologies for that. Should be no problem. Oh, okay. Well, that's very strange. Because we literally just tested it, and it's not working. Robo, you might have to go back, my friend, because my game just crashes every time I load into the game. It didn't do this 20 minutes ago, but it's doing it now. So I'm going to restart Voobly and try and figure that out. Damn it. We killed the hype. What did we do?
The beauty of doing it live. I can tell you, Zach, you haven't missed much. Both players have deleted all of their TCs and all their villagers. So Uh, no, I'm just kidding. But I'll go back and wait for you, and we'll relaunch this in a moment.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, I mean, the beauty of doing it live, of course, always something can go wrong. Still, we have less issues doing recorded games generally than doing live games. But still, it's kind of awkward. Looks like everyone's coming back to the game room. And hopefully my game's not going to crash. Because, I mean, it's super weird. We literally just tested this, and it was working.
Yeah,
so,
you can never, you can never plan for everything. There's always something that goes wrong when streaming, and it's good we're going to get the bugs out of the way here as we launch game number 1 again. And I think that's going to, that's going to pay our dues for the day. Should be a smooth day after this.
Yeah, hopefully. I mean, it's always a little bit of a worry to me when something like this happens, because I don't know why. But yes, it was working a few moments ago. So let's just try again. And if it fails now, then we will we'll figure it out. So apologies for the delay, guys. Dry River should be coming up in just a second. We're going to relaunch. Maybe maybe this time we'll be okay. Yep, we're in. Okay, that was a weird one, Killer B. That was very strange, but it doesn't matter because it's working now, and hopefully it continues to work for the rest of the stream. Welcome everybody, Nicov versus TaToH, game 1 here in the semi-finals of the Escape Champions League Middle East 1v1 stage. It's a little bit of a mouthful, but hopefully you followed that and you know where we are, what we are, who we are, and what the hell we're doing here today. Killer B, thank you so much for joining me. I'm so excited to cast with you, man. It's been a while, and it's always good fun.
I can't wait. Not only do I get to sit in the casting booth next to Zero Empires, we got a really great 1v1 series here. Nicov and TaToH, best of 5. Game 1 on Dry River, Zach. You know this map as well as anybody. What excites you about this one in particular?
Well, it's just this aggressive center, right? I mean, we've had maps like this in the past, things that come to mind, Valley, similar sort of style, but without quite as much shorefish. And then this open center to the map, very hard to wall this up, very aggressive food gathering because, of course, the shorefish gather much faster. And generally, you'll see players getting off to a pretty quick start, and basically everyone just ignoring the fact that they actually start with some goats and some elephants. They're feeling a little left out and maybe a little lonely over here as it's the shorefish which has caught the eye of these villagers.
Yeah, and both players going for Huns here in game number 1. We've seen Huns a few times in this Middle East tournament, but we've seen them often on Arabia. Picking them here on Dry River also makes a lot of sense. Of course, you don't have to build houses. You'll save a lot of wood. Both guys, you'll notice, are starting off chopping the puny trees around their TC, the straggler trees, and they're, as you said, exploiting all of that shorefish in the center of the map. Zach, who do you favor in an all-out sort of aggressive fight like we might see here in this game? Do you like TaToH or Nicov in that situation more? Man,
it depends how messy it gets, I think, because I think Nicov is potentially the better sort of fast micro player, in my opinion. But if it gets messy, then I think TaToH could have the edge because he's just the kind of guy that can deal with, 30 different things happening all at once. That's no problem for him. He's got lots of experience with that.
I couldn't agree more. It feels like TaToH just thrives on these situations where there's just like 6 different battles going on all across the map. So let's see if he can make this a complicated game. And people out there should keep in mind, some of these matches on this map have been decided pretty early. So keep an eye on the early details here. One little mistake in the early game could put you behind and could put you a little vulnerable. It wouldn't be surprising at all to me to see this game end in the late feudal age.
Yeah, so let's see what they do. I mean, what are your thoughts right here? I mean, I see that Nicov has 4 villagers on the wood, TaToH just the 3. That could be an indicator of different strategy here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm not exactly sure what they're going to go for. In my opinion, an open map like this with all this food kind of, makes you want to go to a food-heavy unit like a scout, especially with Huns. That could be an interesting storyline. But yeah, the 4 villagers for Nicov early on wood is pretty interesting to me. He's not going to need a whole lot of wood for another mill because the mill he has right now is beautifully positioned. He's got a ton of food under the TC. So he's going to have a little extra wood, and maybe we'll see a couple of early militia men-at-arms out for him, I suppose.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, the thing is, you could put the barracks up now and start making some militia to send them across really early and harass those villagers off the shorefish. Problem is, since the shorefish gather so quickly, it's pretty easy to click up to feudal in a very, very fast time as well. And it's probably not much faster to get the wood you need to build the barracks and make the militia. We will, however, see Nicov coming forward now, building his barracks, but he will click up to the feudal age first. His barracks is coming up about the same time, actually. They're very, very similarly timed at the moment. And I think you're right, scouts very likely to be on the cards for these guys.
Yeah, feudal age coming for both players. It'll be 19 villagers for Nicov, 18 for TaToH. TaToH is not controlling as much of the map as far as Nicov coming forward with a second mill and with a forward barracks, but he should be okay. Go ahead.
Actually, just want to correct myself. Looks like they're both sending vills out to gold, so they will actually do the men-at-arms anyway, since it is still going to be a little faster if they start making the militia now. And they both sent the vills out to gold already, so we will see the men-at-arms coming in. They could, I mean, I feel like with this much shorefish, the player who controls the middle can go scouts as well, because there's just that much food income from these.
Yeah, and TaToH now is going to find Nikov's couple of militia. I'm sure he's not surprised by that, but he will lose his scout in the process, which is a bit annoying. It's a difficult thing to lose so early on in the game, but both guys with militia on the map, both players hitting feudal age soon, and Nikov's got a couple villagers there, Zach, in the middle of the map that look like they wanted to go a little more forward.
Yeah, I mean, if they fight now, they could get some damage onto those militia as well before the man-at-arms upgrade comes in. And using some villagers at arms is not a bad idea, but it does get a little bit dicey when the upgrades start to come through. We are seeing man-at-arms coming in for both players, of course, and we should be seeing we're actually seeing a blacksmith from Nicov back at home, and a blacksmith from TaToH as well, so they can get that forging upgrade ASAP. Looks like TaToH is ahead in every sense, though. He's got men-at-arms first, he's got forging first, and he's going to win this fight, I think.
Very interesting fight in the center of the map. Nicov, though, with the extra scout, will probably get it. Go ahead.
I was going to say, the scout changes everything there, actually. I mean, if the scout wasn't there, with the +1 attack, he would have won that. But in actual fact, because Nicov had that extra body in there, he's actually able to turn this around and push back a little bit, with +1 defense coming in now as well.
Yeah, Nicov went straight for +1 defense. TaToH went for +1 damage. So interesting difference there in upgrades. Archery range coming down for Nicov to follow this up. He's going to try to maintain the momentum that he has on the front. Going to be difficult to push too hard on TaToH, because TaToH does have 3 men-at-arms out here and ready and a couple villagers. But Nicov creating a little chaos, Zach.
Yeah, absolutely. He's doing a good job in here, but he's going to have to back out again as the villagers now come into fight. As far as I can tell, he didn't kill any villagers there. Did he? No, did he get a villager kill? I think he might have done, actually. It looks like 1 vill went down. And with that, I mean, Nicov actually has a 2 villager advantage at the moment, which is pretty impressive as well, as more and more men-at-arms come streaming out across the map here, and the numbers are, in the end, actually pretty even.
Yeah, Nicov gets a range down, and he starts getting some archers out. TaToH back at home is getting his own archery range as well, but he'll be a half step behind his opponent, I suppose, in getting those archers started. Also, again, worth noting, TaToH has the +1 damage on his men-at-arms, so they're not going to do quite as well versus the archers pushing this away. However, both players should transition away from men-at-arms now, I would assume, and start transitioning toward archers. Double ranges for TaToH are coming. Nicov right now will stick with 1 range.
Yeah, and I don't know if he's still making men-at-arms. It looks like he's actually stopped for the time being, as he starts making more archers. But you're totally right. It's interesting to me that we got the +1 attack from TaToH. And I think he wanted to just win that early men-at-arms fight. But the +1 defense is going to be much more valuable in the long run, I think, because it will, as you say, provide that additional defense from the archers, which is starting to come out now. Things are getting a little messy as the players is continuing to fight in the center of the map. And TaToH even sneaks a man-at-arms through and might even take down a villager over here as well. No,
yeah,
he won't.
Things are getting dicey there, but no villager down. The archers starting to come out more and more for Nicov. TaToH's military is a little bit bigger. He's going to skirmishers and archers mixed together, possibly for economic purposes. Padded archer armor coming, fletching already in for TaToH. So he's going to have a really nice military right now. And Nicov with just +1 and just a couple archers is a little bit vulnerable here, Zach.
Yeah, and the stable from Nicov, I feel like it's coming way too late. He's got a lot of wood in the bank, and I think he should have added the stable sooner at this stage. I mean, maybe he was waiting to see what TaToH was doing, because obviously now we're seeing the skirms coming down. So for TaToH, for Nicov to make scouts is a really good idea, but still, the aggression from TaToH has been insane. He's adding some spears as well. He's just continuing to flood units across the map. And things are getting a little bit rough for Nicov here as he falls behind in military count quite significantly.
Yeah, second stable coming up now for Nicov. He's going to have scouts coming out like they're going out of style here from 2 different stables. TaToH has not reacted to that yet, except for adding in spears. We haven't seen a stable on his side of things. So both guys a little bit committed to a strategy right now. We'll have to see who can do better. A lot of lost villager gather time recently for Nicov there on those front shore fishing areas, but he does have a couple villager advantage. So still anybody's game here.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a 4-vill advantage for Nicov at the moment, but the pressure from TaToH is going to get difficult because the problem is Nikov's running his units in 1 by 1. They're dying, and that's just giving TaToH more and more of a military advantage, and he's going to have to fall back at some point, regather his units, and then make one big push out. Otherwise, this is not going to work. Putting a tower up here will lose some villagers because TaToH has fletching as well, and it's so important for Nicov to defend his shorefish. He's just gone double stable. You need food income if you want to do double stable, especially this early in feudal.
Yeah, I mean, Nicov did what he had to do getting that tower down, but you can see the villager count is equal now. TaToH killing a couple of vills on that front area and killing a lot of scouts. Military for TaToH is starting to get bigger at 12. Mr. Nicov is sitting on 4. And, you know, that army of mostly archers at the moment is going to be scarier and scarier with more units in the mix. It's going to be difficult to get up the numbers for Nicov to repel this, and here comes TaToH with an attack.
Yeah, he's going to try and hit that gold, hit that wood line. I mean, that wood line is perfect, actually, if you could get behind that. And he's even scouted it. But this is looking good for Nicov, sorry, for TaToH even, as Nicov loses his army there and calls GG in the feudal age. Killer B, your prediction's spot on right there, as the feudal age, well, it's already over. And oh my goodness, did you just see the chat? Did you just see the chat? Carlini gifted 100 subs in the chat. Holy moly. Thank you, Carlini.
Is the man.
Now everyone's a sub. What's your excuse?
Who knew that if you show up today, you get a sub, no matter how many people?
Oh, yeah. You know, actually, I tried to gift 100 subs in the chat, but it didn't go through. So that's pending, and that's probably going to go through in the next 20 minutes or so. So if another 100 subs drop, you'll know why.
Dang. Carlini, thanks for the support. Really great way to finish a good game here. I thought Nicov had a nice early advantage, Zach. I thought he was doing a pretty good job early on in the game. But TaToH committed to the archer line and was able to basically break Nicov in the center, killing a lot of army and a couple of vills. And, you know, too many archers at the end of this game. Nicov gives the GG at 19 minutes, but it's not an early GG because he's going to lose a wood line and a gold pile. So a really great game in game number 1.
Yeah, it was absolutely over at that point, but let's just real quick talk about where that went wrong. I mean, it was a short game, so I'm sure the chat can excuse us for talking for an extra minute, but I want to talk about where that went wrong for Nicov and what went right for TaToH. The key thing for me there was, first of all, the men-at-arms aggression was fairly even. No player really got a significant advantage from that, but the thing that made the difference was TaToH's second range came up so much earlier than Nikov's second military building. He built his first range, and then he built the stable way too late, in my opinion. And at that point, TaToH already had an advantage in numbers. He was able to push the front of Nikov's base. And if you're Nicov in this position, and you're going for 2 stables, you need to secure the food income. And for a long time there, Nicov didn't put the tower down. He was losing gathering time. He was falling behind in military production as well. And then further to that, he was suiciding a lot of units one by one as he tried to get the tower up. And maybe he should have put the tower up a little sooner, preemptively, to secure this area. And he should have probably built the stable a little bit sooner as well. So TaToH just getting ahead in military and keeping it that way was allowing him to basically strong arm his way to victory.
Yeah, and one more thing to add is that Nicov ends this game with 3 mills and 3 goats under his TC, 4 goats under his TC, 3, I guess. TaToH has 2 mills and nothing under his TC, and I think that the difference in the mill number actually could have led to the wood difference that caused the earlier military buildings for TaToH. So tiny details can lead to big changes, and this game is big enough of a change for TaToH to grab a win on Dry River in game number 1 of this best of 5.
Yeah, absolutely. We're going to take a quick look at the stats there. My overlays are not changing very well for some reason, but we can see TaToH got the most kills and had a massive army in comparison, 16 versus 6. Eco-wise, he even managed to gather more food, wood, and gold, even though he had less villagers for the majority of that game, which really speaks volumes about the aggression causing hurt to Nikov's economy. And even if you don't kill villagers, you're still doing damage by forcing those villagers to go idle, as reflected in the stats here. It's a pretty significant difference. In a short game, 200 additional food, 100 additional wood, 100 additional gold. You can do quite a lot with that.
Absolutely. Spot on. Great game number 1 to start the day. I hope people got in here in time to see it. And I hope everybody out there is thanking Escape and thanking Carlini for the gifted subs. What a good way to start the day, man.
Absolutely, and I think there's going to be some more comments, so don't go anywhere. We have plenty more action on the way today. That was game 1 in this best of 5, and we're going to see Sunburn next. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. I was away last week, so I didn't catch all of the games, but I don't think Sunburn was played.
I didn't see any Sunburn matches. I did not see every single game, but I didn't see this this map. So I'm looking forward to kind of learning about how the players are going to approach it from a couple of the top pros here. Can't wait.
Yeah, let's do it. Robo confirming Sunburn was not played last week, so let's get excited for this one. We're stepping into the unknown here, and we should probably take a minute to talk about the map a little bit in detail when we start, because we basically need to analyze that before we can think about what might happen, as we're all going into the unknown together right here.
There's no one I'd rather go into the unknown with, Zach, than you.
Oh, you're such a babe. All right. Well, hopefully my game works, because it's looking like it's crashed again.
Oh, no.
This is super weird, man. Okay, hold on. Let me figure out what's going on here. It's weird because I tried to... Whoa. Okay. Sorry, guys. I need to quit Skype. That should not have happened. So let me just figure this out, because I tried to reinstall Warlord Kingdoms earlier to remove the grid, and it said that Age of Empires was not installed on my PC, when it clearly is, because we just played it, right? So I'm going to... This is super odd, and I'm going to have to just figure this out real quick.
Yeah, no worries. I'll study a little bit about Sunburn and try to give you some proper analysis about this map as Zach figures things out. Yeah, game number 2 on the way, guys. Please be patient. Working out the kinks here early on in the day. Yeah. But we'll get there.
Yeah, I can tell you what the problem is. I'm a fool.
Oh, no.
I'm a fool, man.
I don't know if that can be fixed.
I know. This is a fundamental issue with me. I don't know what we can do about this. Okay, no. I'll tell you what we're going to do. I'm going to install Age of Empires 2 HD. How about that?
Ooh, okay. That could be, yeah, that could be useful. That could be useful.
Yeah. So I decided to crack down on my gaming and basically, you know, limit myself. And I uninstalled all the games on my computer, apart from Age of Empires. And I was like, well, I don't need Age of Empires HD to stream on Voobly, right? I mean, I have the AOC installation, but of course, we're using Warlord Kingdoms, which uses the HD compatibility, and now I need to install HD again. But that's fine, because I'm on a really fast internet connection. So what is the download? It's 2.4 gigabytes. That's going to be done in 20 seconds, so it's no problem. Professional
Isn't that
stream.
nice?
That's right.
Hey man, this is kind of the story of streaming this game. You know, it's an older game. It takes a lot of work and a lot of focus to keep up with all of the changes. And every once in a while, you get played the fool. But no worries, guys. We'll be ready in just a moment with this match. It is going to be on Sunburn. It is going to be a map we haven't seen in this round. Go ahead, Zach.
It's just, oh, sorry. I'm just laughing because it's funny. But I'm reading the chat. But go ahead.
No, just saying that I'm looking forward to seeing this new map, and who better to introduce it to us than TaToH and Nicov. I guess we should go back, Zach, right? Those of us in the room, and try to meet you up for a relaunch.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Like I say, HD is going to be downloaded and well, it's done, but I just need to quickly... I'm going to rerun the Warlord Kingdoms installer, because a lot of people don't like the whole, what's it called, grid thing, and I actually wanted to remove that myself. But it should be quickly fixable here. Apologies about that. Obviously, that didn't go to plan, but we'll get this thing going in just a second.
I love the hazing or the I don't know, the jokes on Zach at the moment that are coming in the chat.
It's fine. Yeah, I can be the butt of the joke. That's cool with me.
It's kind of ironic, isn't it? Like all of the high functions that you have to learn how to do to be able to like put together a really good stream on OBS, and all of the complicated things, and it's like the simplest mistakes that always end up tripping you up.
Oh yeah, no, that absolutely happens. Like I just didn't even register when I uninstalled HD that my Voobly install would be affected by that, right? Because Voobly and AOC is completely separate entity, but then of course we're running Warlord Kingdoms, which is converting and all this stuff. So, yeah, it's a stupid mistake to make, but you don't realize you made it until it's too late sometimes.
It sounds like love. Sounds like we're talking about love.
Damn, that's deep. That's deep and true. That's
love is
true.
A stupid mistake to make.
Jeez, you're killing me over here, man. That's next level right there. Right, let's try again, shall we? We should be all set now. I'm just gonna get back in the game room.
Meanwhile, people in the chat don't know that Zach is just a master at keeping people on the edge of their seat, and this has all been staged. Everything was fine all along.
Well, where do you think my my whole announcement of the announcement thing comes from? And actually, you know what? I want to make an announcement that there is going to be an announcement. Something big is coming for Escape in the new year, and I want you guys to know that. I'm not going to tell you what, but I'm just going to tell you something big is coming in the new year.
Okay, something big is coming in the new year.
Oh god, that sounds really wrong actually, but but it's also true. So let's see if the game's going to work here.
Well, I'll try to think of a prediction of what big could be coming, because I'm in the dark over here. But I can't wait to find out what happens in 2019. Can't wait to see what happens in this game if we get a proper launch. Did it work?
We do. Just come into the light, Killer B. Come in. Oh. Sorry. Anyway, let's go in game. This is a PG stream, and we're in game number 2. Nicov versus TaToH here. It did work, and we are on Sunburn, the map which we have not seen yet this event, and the map which we're going to analyze in detail in just a few moments' time. First of all, TaToH to the south. He's in the blue, playing as the Franks, and then Nicov also taking the Franks here up to the north. Interesting, Killer B. They've taken the same civ.
Yeah, very interesting game. This is a map that I don't know terribly well, but after looking at it for a couple of minutes here, you can see that there's obviously a massive wood line that divides the map in half, corner or top corner to bottom corner. That can probably lead to some really interesting two-sided fights, which I hope we get to see in this game. Both players choosing Franks, a civ that has really great cavalry. There's a lot of berries on this map too, so Franks have a couple bonuses that could help them out in this match. But right now it's the fight for goats, Zach. Both sides look to be trying to roam around and get as many goats as they can.
Yep, that's correct. As they do start very close together, they can send their scouts forward very quickly, as we saw. And it looks like TaToH's come ahead in the GOAT war here. He is the GOAT after all. And he has a total of 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 plus the one he's taking now. And Nicov, on the other hand, just has 3 plus the one he's taken now. So we know who came ahead there. But GOATs will not necessarily be the deciding factor in this game, as Nicov actually manages to steal one off of TaToH on the left side. He's going to escort that home. Get the GOAT escort going over here.
It's the beautiful thing about our game. The little details early on actually do matter. TaToH will have a tiny advantage there, but of course, there's a lot of game left to be played. Both guys will be luring in their elephants soon. And it's worth noting that both players have quite a bit of resource on both sides of their TC. They're going to have to start to make decisions about where to go to take those resources. Yeah. For instance, if you look at TaToH's map, he can go left for a gold pile, stone pile, and a berry pile, or berry patch over there, or he can go right with less resources. So scouting's incredibly important early on here.
A berry pile. I like that. That sounds good. A pile of berries. Dive in and help yourself. It's interesting that he's gone to the right, though, don't you think? He's gone for this berry patch over here when the berries on the left are closer to the gold and the stone, and he could perhaps focus his attention to one area rather than splitting between two when later on he inevitably has to go out to the gold or the stone. We'll see how that plays out. Nicov on the top side, he's actually milling both berries. Obviously a shortage of food for him, and he's going to take full advantage of that Frank berry bonus. And I think that's probably the reason why these players have taken the Franks in this map.
Yeah, the eco bonuses are huge. I had the well, both you and I had the opportunity to sit with a lot of these players on multiple occasions. Most recently at Nilly's Apartment Cup, and when you watch games with people like TaToH, it's amazing the detail that they will go into and the little tiny bonuses that they're wanting to go after. Of course, the berry bonus is a pretty big one. But both of these guys getting started early with 3 vills on wood. Actually, Nicov adding a 4th villager out onto the wood line to support his 2nd mill coming up. We should see strong economies here early on. And with all this food flying in, I would expect to see some scouts here. But Zach, how do you see this map shaping up? I mean, are we going to see a game that goes deep into the Castle Age, Imperial Age, or are we going to see another crazy Feudal Age finish?
Yeah, I mean, I think since they've gone Franks, we should expect to see scouts, but we could see some interesting tower play as well. And whoa, look at that. Nicov even going for a 3rd mill here. That's extremely different to TaToH, who's only on the 1 right now. And I said, you know, perhaps the GOATs won't completely change the course of this game, but in fact maybe they will, as TaToH has not been under so much pressure to build these additional mills so early. I think this map, you know, it's going to be difficult to wall up. They can try and build some walls across the right and left, but all in all, I mean, the villagers on the berries might be exposed, and we could see quite a lot of aggression. I'd like to see this game get to the Castle Age, to be honest, but we're going to see the Feudal Age coming in soon, and we may have another quick game on our hands if things go the way of the last game, which we just watched. But real quick, before the Feudal Age comes in, I just want to remind everyone that the Middle East stage also has a 3v3 event, and that will be coming up in 2 weeks. And we're going to see the same maps. So we're going to see this map in 3v3 as well. And in 3v3, it's even more interesting because those players still spawn in a line. The map is obviously bigger, and the players still spawn behind each other in this center wood line. So you're going to want to keep an eye out for that when we get to the 3v3 stage as well. But for now, we're going to see how it plays out in 1v1, as TaToH will be in the Feudal Age a little bit before Nicov here.
Yeah, TaToH will be up 1 villager early, and he will have a bit more wood in the bank. He will immediately drop a stable. No huge surprises there. I think Nicov is fine on wood to drop a stable right away as well. But yeah, for now, these guys are both going to be up. Nicov will be running back home, trying to keep his initial scout alive as long as he can, and he will immediately drop a stable in front of the berries on the left. So both guys have military buildings on the left, and both guys have 1 mill on the right. And of course, we will have to expect scouts to be circling around both sides. It's such a fast mobile unit that if you can hit your opponent in that back berry patch, you might actually get a couple of cheap vills. But for now, the first couple units start coming out, and it's anybody's game, Zach. 2 spears right away from Nicov.
Yep, adding the second spear from Nicov, super important here. That's really valuable to him, especially since he was a little bit behind to the feudal age, and you can see TaToH has the first scout, or the second additional scout out already. We're going to see a lot of spears from both players, I would imagine here, as players will eventually, I assume, switch into archer production as well. But yeah, the gold for Nicov, I don't like that so much. It's going to be exposed. It's part of his wall off, so if TaToH can tower it or get archers behind it, could be a big problem for Nicov. With regards to 3 mills, I think it's perfectly fine, to be honest. The villagers gather from these berry bushes about the same rate as they gather from sheep when you have the frank bonus taken into account. And that beats throwing down lots of farms early. And you can see the difference in farms already. TaToH with a lot more farms than Nicov at this point in the game. And so I think Nicov will actually get a little advantage with his mills, even if it sets him back a little bit right at the start of the game. It should play out to his advantage in the long run. But we'll see how that develops, as on the left side, he's pushing out now with those scouts.
Yeah, Nikov's got a lot of spears back at home, so he's feeling safe to get out around the map with his scouts. But TaToH has spread spearmen everywhere, and he's kind of waiting for Nicov. He's got an outpost, spearmen running watch on every corner of that backside of the base. For now, though, Zach, TaToH is circling around on the right. He's going for that back berry patch.
Yeah, and that seems sloppy to me. I don't know why Nicov would leave that unwalled and undefended with any spearmen. That's pretty poor from him. He's got to run the villagers back. He will lose one, certain of that, but only one. Could have been much worse for Nicov had he experienced some pathing issues, for example. But that fruit bush there only has 15 food in it anyway, so it's about time to bring the villagers back now. And he's even brought the scouts back as well, recognizing that, hey, I can't really do much on the other side of the map. But whoa, TaToH's coming in again, looking for some more villagers. And Nicov, does he not realize there's only 11 food in that bush? Because that's a lot of villagers on the bush right there.
He's fighting hard for that last 11 food. TaToH will take that little tiny hill to try to get a little bonus here on Nicov, but it looks like Nikov's going to push him back.
Yes, and nice scout micro from Nicov there as well, actually bringing the weaker scouts back. I think one of the hardest skills to learn in this game is melee micro. I think it's incredibly difficult to pull that off. It's much easier to micro archers than it is to micro infantry or cavalry, and we see Nicov doing a bit of nice micro there. 2 low HP scouts though, and both players very low overall on their scout HP pools. But for now though, no serious damage done. TaToH 1 villager ahead after that kill on the berries, and fairly even trades so far, I'd say. I mean, it's 4-2 for TaToH, but the HP is pretty similar on these scouts.
Yeah, TaToH gets up a mining camp back at home under a tower. That's starting to look like a really nice fortified position where he can take both stone and gold and berries. He's left 3 villagers on stone for now, maybe just replenishing that 200 stone that he wants for the next age, but maybe more. We'll have to keep an eye on that. Both guys should be getting closer to the economies to clicking up. It seems like Nicov may be there first. He's already got the food that he needs.
Yeah, it's interesting. They're both going to go straight up to Castle Age and go into Knights. I guess with such an abundance of food, thanks to that berry gather bonus, and both players not really being able to do too much damage with the scouts, they're not going to keep making scouts for now. They're just going to start banking the food and go straight up to Castle, where they can take advantage of the free bloodlines, I suppose you could say. Which is pretty good, I think, for both players. And, you know, I think there's opportunities to play more aggressively on this map with the addition of sort of forward towers and things. But both players taking the safer approach, I think, by going up Castle here.
Yeah, so TaToH will kill 1 villager. That will put him 1 vill ahead. And then he'll delay Castle Age just a bit longer than his opponent, about 1 villager of a delay. So he'll have 2 more vills, but a later castle. Nikov's got 2 stables down already. I don't see the second stable from TaToH just yet.
Yeah, he should add it, though. He's actually, though, with that said, taking a lot of stone. Yeah, and I think we're going to see the castle coming down for TaToH. The question is, where will he put it? Will he go aggressive on that gold? I think it has to be. That's just too much of a great opportunity to pass. And if TaToH can get the castle on that gold there, that could be game ending if he could pull that off. He's going with an outpost now to get some vision on the left side, and he's even adding more spearmen so he can keep the pressure up on both sides without too much worry, because he knows, of course, that Nicov's either going to have to make more spearmen or he'll end up suiciding his scouts trying to fight him. So this gives TaToH some good map control for now.
Yeah, TaToH coming with a second barracks instead of a second stable. He got scale mail armor, so he's going to be ready for a fight. He's going to have some spears out, and they're going to be beefy spearmen. Castle Age will hit first for Nicov, but I don't know where he's going to be able to send the first batch of knights. He will immediately queue 2 knights, and it looks like for now he's going to send them toward TaToH's gold. Let's see if we can find a little damage there, but I don't know, Zach. I think TaToH's got a pretty good strategy here. It's kind of a... It's a map that if you can hold a certain position, you're probably better off than being able to raid.
It's so nice. You know, he's doing pikemen now. He's going to keep the aggression up with the pikes. And the beauty of that, of course, is you can make spearmen in the feudal age. So you have a lot of units to upgrade as soon as you hit castle. Those knights from Nicov, they're strong, but they can't handle the numbers of TaToH. And when pikeman comes in, there's no way he can fight that. And there's the castle. It's got to be coming in. But there's a risk here, the big risk of Nikov's mangonel, as Nicov read this perfectly. And I think that mangonel is actually going to force TaToH to build the castle back at home. And that's a huge win for Nicov. Really, that's huge.
Yeah, this game is over if that castle comes up on the gold pile. And without the mangonel, I don't think you deny it. So Nicov keeping his hopes alive with a very nicely timed mango. TaToH will fall back very wisely, pragmatically, you could say, and he'll drop a castle on his main gold. Still a great position for TaToH, but, you know, Nicov keeps his hopes alive.
Absolutely. They're neck and neck in villages. TaToH has the larger army, but Nicov has the higher quality army, you could say. Now, it's going to be difficult for Nicov to push in here since the castle is up. He does see it, so that mangonel should not be dying to a castle here. He's actually going to do a nice little attack ground onto those pikes and get the TC up on this front side. It's a really risky, dicey position for Nicov. If he can get another TC maybe over on the gold on the left. Did he just kill his own knight there? I think he might have done. But he did take down the monk, so that's worth it.
Yeah, I didn't see that particular engagement. But yeah, like you said, great timing on Nicov to get a mangonel out. He's going to have 3 TCs before TaToH. TaToH's second TC is coming, and Nicov is now using his knights to clean up those last couple of pikes that TaToH has been harassing him with on that right-hand side of Nikov's base. So both guys will start to expand out the economies, and we're going to see this game continue to shape up. I think that Nicov is going to kind of hold off on building too many more knights. He's slowed down on the upgrades and on the numbers, which I think is a very wise choice on his point. But I do see 3 mangonels roaming around there, Zach, and he could actually try to make a push on the right side of TaToH's base.
That would be great. He knows it's the undefended side. Now, I've got to say, at this point in the game, I think Nikov's got a very big advantage. TaToH made a very risky play, I would say, making so many spears, making pike, trying to get the forward castle up. If it worked, it could have been game ending, but because it hasn't worked, you can't use those pikemen aggressively. So TaToH's playing the defender's game, and since he also built the castle, he doesn't have a 3rd TC yet. So Nikov's getting ahead economically, and now making the push on the right side. Look at the mangonels go. Yeah, the pikes aren't going to stand up to too much of that, and suddenly TaToH's a bit low on army to deal with this. He's going to make his own knights now, taking that switch, but still does not have that 3rd town center, and we've got 4 mangonels knocking on TaToH's door right here.
Yeah, Nikov's timing has been beautiful this game. Not only do the mangonels show up on time, but they show up with a couple of monks to back them up. So TaToH's knights are not going to have free reign to kill those mangoes. TaToH gathered more stone, and he's dropping a castle.
Yeah, where's that one? Oh my goodness, he's doing it on the front. I mean, that is risky. Look where his 2nd TC is. And he's not able to get the castle up on the right side. TaToH could be without TCs in a matter of minutes, because that TC went down incredibly quickly. The 2nd TC castle does not protect his economy. This whole eco in the back is now at risk.
Yeah, it is at extreme risk because knights are roaming around. Those mangonels and monks are getting closer. TaToH's castle will go up, but it will come at a small price. He did lose a couple villagers to a mangonel on that side. He's really putting the chips on the table here, Zach. I think TaToH saw those units showing up behind his economy and just said, "I got to go for something really risky." And
oh boy,
it's going to be hard to imagine it paying off.
Yeah, you could say risky. I mean, that's one way to put it. It is very risky, but he might just defend his base here. He's got more monks on the field. He's taking down the mangonels. He's got his knights in position, and all 3 mangonels go down. He's now defended his TC, and he's still kept his eco alive at the back. At the same time, he's got the castle on the gold of Nicov, and Nicov is gold starved. He can take the gold off to the right side, but he cannot take his main gold, and that TC is now lost as well.
Yeah, kudos to TaToH. I'm surprised at how well that went. I thought this TC, this second town center off to the right hand of TaToH's base, I thought that was doomed, but that was not the case. Nicov kind of raided a little bit on that back wood line. TaToH righted the ship here, and again, we got a game on our hands. Let's see. Do you think that's enough of a swing, Zach, to give TaToH the advantage here?
Maybe if TaToH can get another castle up in his economy, somewhere like where his old TC was, or up to the right side, just to protect this TC out here, then I think that could be huge. And, you know, these castles are going to be a real nuisance to deal with because they can't really be taken down in the castle age. Nicov's got to get imp. He's got to start getting some better siege out if he wants to deal with these. And TaToH's going to have his 3rd castle on the way very, very soon as well. We should see the second TC up. Well, I guess it's the 3rd TC, but only his 2nd now on that left side wood line. And Nikov's not really done any more damage after taking out that initial TC, and I don't think he killed too many villagers, but of course, naturally, he is ahead in villagers right now, and he's going to go for the left side, where he's building a castle and losing some villagers to that mangonel.
Yeah, absolutely. That villager advantage is approximately 20 for Nicov. That kind of explains why his push wasn't quite as crazy as we thought it might be. If he had poured those resources into more siege and more knights, then that could have gotten even more dicey. But he's playing this game for the long run, getting some villagers out ahead of his opponent. And Nicov should be in a really good place. I mean, if we're honest with ourselves, TaToH has a great castle that's going to kill a TC, but he doesn't threaten that much of Nikov's economy right now, especially once this new castle comes up from Nicov. So TaToH trying to keep the pressure on, but I don't know. I don't know, Zach. I don't know if he did enough.
I think Imperial Age is going to be really important in this game. Now the castles are up, it's going to be kind of difficult for both players to do too much damage. The castle on the left side from Nicov costing him a few villagers, but securing him gold, getting him a couple of mangonel kills, and preventing TaToH from pushing in. The right side is about to be locked down with another castle as well, and now I think Imperial Age is going to be crucial. Got to get some trebs out, and got to make, well, you can give some bombard cannons as well, but that Imperial Age upgrade's coming in from Nicov first, and that could be game-changing. That could be life-saving, and we'll see how that plays out, because once the trebs start popping, you know what I always say, the castles are dropping.
And there was kind of an important moment on the right side of TaToH's base. He nearly, well, he got a castle almost halfway up, but Nicov shows up just in time, in force, in numbers to deny that castle. That actually takes away a lot of TaToH's economy. He's got a lot of villagers now waiting inside the TC. So not only is he 20 villagers behind, he's got 15 idols. Nikov's on the way to imp. TaToH's in a lot of trouble here, Zach.
Yeah, the scouts on the right side, though, not too bad. He will get a couple of monk kills. That will prevent the reconversions coming in too quickly. And TaToH, with more monks coming over, should be able to convert enough knights, I assume, to win this fight out here. Although, actually, with that said, I think he's ran out of faith. That's always something that's hard to judge, because you have to click on each individual monk. And he didn't manage to quite convert enough knights there, but he might still be able to get the castle up. And it looks like if he rushes that right now, he will successfully get the castle up on the right side of his base. Imperial Age, though, like I say, coming through. We got universities, castles, barracks coming up from Nicov on the left side. If in doubt, just build more castles, especially as the Franks. You can build a lot of the things with that cheaper castle discount.
Yeah, absolutely. Nikov's Imperial Age will be here soon. TaToH is really not very close. He's adding a town center back where his initial TC was to get those farms in that nice area. But he's in trouble, Zach. I mean, military number is 5 for him right now.
Yeah, well, I mean, Nikov's is 6, but look at the difference in resources. Nicov has nearly 1k5 of everything. Chemistry coming down. We're going to see some, well, I assume we're going to see some bombard cannons to counter the trebs of TaToH. And we're going to see trebs coming out. We've got 1, 2 trebs being queued up. A third might be immediately queued once that castle comes up on the left. It is. And we're going to see hand cannons to follow this through as well. And Nicov is about to lay down a lot of pressure onto TaToH's castles. And I know I said, you know, castles are cheap, you can make a lot of them, but they aren't infinitely replenishable, and he doesn't have enough stone in the bank for another castle right now. And this treb war is already looking lost at this stage, as the third treb from Nicov is about to pop out.
Yeah, TaToH is going to go for upgrades now. He's going to go for wheelbarrow husbandry. He's starting to pump out some knights. I think he's sticking in the castle age, and he's going to try to hope to get a little bit of momentum here. But yeah, the window of opportunity is shrinking. We will see a little raiding coming in on that right-hand side of Nikov's base, so keep an eye over there. But yeah, like you said, those trebs, they're going to get a great return on investment here, Zach. 5 trebs out already for the green player Nicov. These castles are going to drop quickly.
Oh yeah, and that's just going to open up the left side of the base. There's a lot of exposed farmland here, and Nicov knows that if he goes in there right now, after this castle goes down, he'd get a lot of villager kills. Problem is, he doesn't actually have that much army to follow this up with. You know, he's at the... well, I was going to say he's at the limit, but I was actually looking at TaToH's resources. He doesn't have that much food in the bank, and his production of hand cannons only started after chemistry, which takes quite a while to research. So he's not pumping out that much military. I think, you know, maybe even just going for knights and raiding here could have been a good option for momentum, but he will indeed start producing more hand cannons. Problem is, his siege is really unprotected.
Yeah, here comes TaToH with about 10 knights. Maybe Nicov not ready for this. Not quite sure, but he does have some hand cannons inside the castle. But he's going to watch 5 trebs die. So if TaToH was making a little bit of a gamble, staying in castle and getting some upgrades, it's paying off a bit, isn't it? 5 trebs?
That's sloppy, though. That's so sloppy. There's no way that he should have lost 5 trebs there. Like, come on. That's just inexcusable. And on the right side, TaToH dropping a castle here in another aggressive position, something for Nicov to deal with. But dude, 5 that's 1,000 gold, 1,000 wood, wipes off the map to a few knights, and it's entirely preventable.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is a closed map. I can understand going for hand cannons and going for some spears here, or some eventually upgrading those units. He's also got a couple throwing axes. But TaToH has gone big and kind of quickly into a pretty decent number of well-upgraded knights, and they are now in the back of Nikov's eco doing some raiding. So, I don't know. TaToH's breathing some life here, still in the castle age, sitting on not really any resources to click up. So he's going to be in castle for a while.
Yep, and again on the front now, there's a bombard cannon, or 2, that could be sniped by these knights. And honestly, I feel like Nicov could have saved himself quite a lot here if he'd have actually gone for more knights and done cavalier instead of chemistry and hand cannons. Hand cannons are great, but you need time to mass them up, and they can even kill knights, right? But you need time to mass them up. So I feel like Nicov there, it was sloppy, but he's still in a good position. He's now starting to mass more units, but he's also playing Ring Around the Rosie here as he tries to catch TaToH's knights, sending a bunch of units to the back of his base, and TaToH can just run away, and those units, they won't do anything.
I think this is a really great test of wills sort of a game, because Nicov had a very, very strong position, should have already earned the GG at this point. Gave up some major advantage, but, you know, if he keeps fighting this out and gutting it out, he doesn't lose morale, he's probably going to still win this game. I think his position is still quite good. Yes. We'll see the Haub upgrade coming in, bombard cannons from Nicov firing away. TaToH's on the way to Imp. Nicov should still pull this out, but this is exactly why you play the game, right? Anything can happen if you make the right call at the right time.
That's true, that's true. And TaToH on the left side will take down 2 of those bombard cannons. The third one, though, will stay alive, and it looks like that TC will go down as a result. And like I say, Halberdier coming in. So now it's really tough for TaToH, right? The answer here for him, what unit comp does he go for? If he goes to continue making knights and does cavalier, he can't really engage Nikov's army head on. He has to try and raid, but that army it's doing damage to his base. He has to clean it up some way or another. Now, he could go for Halb himself, that's fine, but then he also has to deal with the hand cannons. So Nicov has built himself a really strong army composition, and it's going to be difficult for TaToH to take that on, but it's taken him a while to get there, and now he's there, well, he's going to be in a much better position to actually push through and take down TaToH's economy.
Yeah, TaToH at the moment has 12 gold miners. He's not sitting on a ton of gold. He's dropping down archery ranges and building a new TC on the left side. But gold control is eventually going to be an issue for him. He's lost that gold on the front for now to Nicov. Does have a lot of gold left to mine, but Nicov has a lot more to mine. So trying to make a gold-heavy knight is tricky. TaToH will transition to elite skirms to try to keep his hopes alive. But it's going to be really difficult.
That's true. I mean, Elite Skirm isn't the worst idea since there's a lot of Halbs out, but Franks don't get the best skirms, and you also, if you're Nicov, just start adding throwing axemen and, you know, what skirms, right? So Nicov has a lot more opportunity here because he has the castles alive as well. He has more counter units which he can make, and he's already got a very large army of 63, which right now, let's be honest, TaToH cannot contend with at all. He's going to try his best. He's going to hang on. He's going to try and hold on in there, but it's looking less and less likely as the minutes tick by.
Yeah, most of those knights that were harassing the back of Nikov's eco are now dead. There were a couple of Halbs hanging around, and TaToH, maybe not with the perfect micro there, did lose that whole group of knights. So now the skirmishers are going to have to try to come in and rescue his position. But it's worth noting that there's a lot of villagers here who should be working on these farms and taking this front gold pile that are not able to do so. Bombard cannon is still firing away. 70 military for the green player, Zach.
Yep.
Doesn't look good for TaToH. Looks like we're going to see a 1-1 tie here.
Yep, it certainly does. It's definitely over for TaToH now. It is, in fact, over because he's calling the GG. And I think Nicov played that very well, you know, considering his gold positioning that game. He recognized the importance of defending that gold, and so he added the mangonel super early. And that maybe was the one decision that he made that saved him the game, because if he couldn't protect that gold on the left side, it could have been GG right there. Other than that, though, he played well, and I think TaToH, he made the risky call to go forward with the castle, and as a result, since it didn't work, he fell behind in economy, wasn't able to do enough eco damage back, and from there, Nicov just needed to not make too many mistakes, and the game was won.
Yeah, we've got two incredibly evenly matched players, both representing two of the top teams here in the tournament, and they haven't disappointed here so far. Game 1 went to TaToH in the Feudal Age. Game 2 goes to Nicov in the Imperial Age, and I wonder if that will be a theme as we go forward. TaToH's, I think he's got a strong advantage earlier on in games, but if it's an equal game going into Imp, maybe Nicov has some advantage there.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll see how that plays out. Though I've got to say, Sunburn, fun map. I liked it.
Yeah.
That was cool. And I can't wait to see this again in the future.
Yeah, that was very cool. The decision-making was so... players were forced to make some really snap decisions about where and when to attack, and it changed the whole face of the game. It was not about who built more units faster or who had the better economy. It was that early game decision-making. And that's what a map is supposed to be, right? It's supposed to test a player's ability to read the situation and make the right call.
Absolutely. And I like how the map is kind of split in half. You have these two sides, which players will probably be fighting on both sides as the game gets later into the game. Makes things very interesting indeed. But there you go, 1-1, and I'm sure the Spanish stream is having an absolute blast right now. I know Nicov is, you know, like it's like Nicov is like the Doubt equivalent to the Spanish-speaking world. He's like the god, and TaToH is also like so well respected as well. So to get these two guys together in a 1v1, I'm sure the Spanish-speaking community is absolutely loving it as well, as much as we are, if not more. Let's take a quick look at the statistics real quick before we jump into Game 3. We can see that the KD was actually relatively close. It's a bit wonky because of the conversions, but that largest army for Nicov, it's all about the momentum. It's all about the military potential energy that Nicov has stored in those 71 military units and ready to unleash upon TaToH, much to his dismay. Right, eco-wise, very solid for Nicov as well, but that's expected. He had the villager lead the whole game, and we can see that, well, interestingly, the research count, 28 to 28. That tells us so much. Yeah, that's a really valuable stat.
A really great, really great game there. You know, it's like when you listen to a great caster like Zero Empires, sometimes you just forget that you're actually supposed to talk as well. I was sitting here like, oh yeah, this is a really nice point. Like, yeah, sitting here drinking some coffee. Oh wow, well said, Zach. Yeah, great.
You flatter me. All right, let's go into game 3. Mediterranean. This is going to be a... it's either going to be an amazing game or it's going to be a flop, right? Because I remember I was told to watch one specific game, Tim versus Leary from last week on Mediterranean. That game was insane. That was one of the best games I've seen of the tournament. And I've got to say, actually, you know, I know that I've had a big hand in organizing this tournament, but seriously, we've had some incredible games this tournament. In fact, some of the best games I've ever seen from this tournament so far, and consistently great games in my opinion.
Yeah, absolutely. I think one of the coolest things that a league brings that we haven't had so many times in the past is it brings variety. You know, you can't send the same 2 players to every single event. So because of that, we're getting this really interesting mixture of teams saying, all right, we're going to put our best foot forward in this 1v1 tournament with our best 1v1 player. And because of that, it's giving us interactions that we might not see so much. Yeah. And let's be honest, Zach, a couple guys here who have always been good have stepped up their game really immensely. I think Tim looks better now than he has for a few years, at least in my opinion.
God, yes.
I can't wait to see him later today. Tim versus Back T is like, doesn't it feel like this should be 3 years ago that we're talking about this match? Like,
oh, that's so true. That's so true. That's really exciting. I can't wait for that. Of course, Nicov TaToH has to conclude first, so hold your horses. But yeah, just a couple of things before we get into the next game. We've got a lot more viewers now since I did the intros and things. I want to remind everyone that we have a giveaway going on. It's completely free to enter. We gave away 150 subs. Carlini gave away another 100 in the chat. And we might give away some more as well as the stream goes by. But the giveaway is completely free to enter. You can win an HTC Vive Pro. You click on the link below the stream, click on the little picture, and you can enter that. If you are subscribed, you get some extra bonus entries as well. So you can do all of that right now before we start the next game. Also, just a general announcement. We changed the streaming policy today. Anybody can stream this tournament on their own channel completely free. And we decided that that would be the best way to move forward. And so if anyone wants to stream this for themselves, you are more than welcome. And you can watch live as a streamer in Voobly, and you can cast it on your own channel completely free without any catch, nothing at all. We want people to see the games because they are just awesome.
That's a beautiful thing. And I think a lot of people will be inspired to cast these games and put them up on YouTube as well. Just a really great time to be watching Age of Empires, Zach. Isn't it amazing? This game seems to not have a limit. The sky is the limit here. It keeps getting bigger.
You know, and when I see games like last week's Leary and Tim, I'm like, okay, I've been watching Age of Empires for the last 8 years, and there's still games which make me go, whoa, that was an amazing game. Like, how many more amazing games are there? And the answer is, well, as many as you want there to be. All we have to do is create the environment, and the games will come, and they have been coming.
Sounds like Field of Dreams. If you build it, they will come.
That's so true. That's so true. I know this is a long tournament. I know that it's spanning almost a year, but the quality of the matches, man, really been enjoying it every step of the way so far. And don't even get me started on how amazing the LAN final is going to be. I mean, it's going to be next summer, but geez, that is something that is highlighted and marked with a red circle on my calendar like 20 times.
Yeah, that's going to be amazing. And thanks everybody out there watching for the support in the past. Obviously, you can't do things like this without the past support and the present support. And I think these events are going to keep getting bigger and better. Can't wait. But speaking of can't wait, I think we're ready for the next game, aren't we?
Yeah, we are going to go into the next game right now. Like I say, the LAN finals is going to be, in my opinion, I hope, one of the biggest events Age of Empires has ever had. We want to make a show. We want to make something awesome. And we're going to do everything we can to do that. But before we get to the LAN final, I mean, we're getting a bit ahead of ourselves. We were getting ahead of ourselves talking about Tim versus Backed, which is our next series. Let's actually focus on the present. Nicov versus TaToH in Mediterranean for Game 3 here. It's a best of 5, so this is not a decider. But this is going to be putting one player in the lead as they exit this game. Killer B, what are your thoughts?
Well, a couple of things. First thing that's obvious to me is that the lake in the center of the map is not as big as it can be. That lake is going to be narrow, and it could lead to early fights. Both players often going for water. Both players did choose Italians, a great water sieve. So we could see a hot and heavy fight early, and this game could be decided really, really early. We've seen a couple medi games where basically one player can win the water, and we're talking about late feudal age as the basically tipping point of the game. So don't fall asleep, guys. It's time to get this one heated up. Zach, I have some thoughts on the two players here, but what are your thoughts initially about these two guys on a water map? Who do you give the edge to?
Ooh, that's going to be tough. I mean, I maybe say TaToH, to be honest. I think he's just got a little bit more experience. I don't know. I mean, obviously both players are incredibly experienced overall, so it's not like one player would have a huge advantage. But one thing I've noticed already, TaToH sending his scout out, he's going to run into a lot of sheep, and he's going to send them home. Oh, he just missed those 3. That's interesting. No, he did see them. Yeah, he did see them, and he's going to grab them as well. So that's going to be, well, not all the extra sheep, but at least some extra sheep here. And that's going to be a really nice boost. And that's something that, well, looking at Nikov's side of the map, it is devoid of sheep at the moment.
Oh boy, Zach. We got a villager out in the middle of the map. He may be protected by his own scout, so it could be okay. TaToH here roaming forward with the scout early. Nearly finding that builder from Nicov, and maybe could still get him. This is pre-loom at the moment, but Nicov roaming around with his own scout, so I suppose it's going to be okay.
It's a little risky if Nicov has his scout there. I mean, TaToH could go for the kill, and maybe he could even kill the villager and delay the dock, but the risk there is that he would lose his own scout, and then you have to weigh up the value of that. And, you know, in my opinion, it's not necessarily worth it to trade one villager for your scout, because your scout gives you so much valuable information as the game goes by. However, killing a villager that's building a dock and delaying your opponent's dock, and then they have to send another villager out, that could be worth it, and that could be quite a difference maker in a game like this, especially, as you said earlier on, since the two players are very close together on water.
Yeah, and it's worth mentioning here in the Dark Age, Dark Age is incredibly important on this map. It's not uncommon to see players go 19 vills plus loom, building a second dock during the transition to feudal age, and having 2 or 3 docks pumping out fire galleys in early feudal. And if you're the first player to get the early galley number out, you can often really overwhelm your opponent. So eco balance in the Dark Age is so important. You've got to have the right amount of wood to get those early fishing ships. If you want fishing ships, those early fishing ships out and those early docks. If you're TaToH, Zach, holy cow, are you even thinking about fishing? Look at those sheep, my lord.
It's insane. There's so many sheep. Of course, he is still thinking about fishing because you can make villages and fishing ships at the same time, hence grow your economy faster. But with this many sheep, the key thing here is that he's not going to need to build farms for half the game. Maybe the whole game if he finishes quick. And that's going to save him so much wood in the long run. He doesn't have to build a mill. He doesn't have to build farms. And all of that saved wood can be translated into more military aggression on the water, an extra dock, extra fire ships, you name it, he can build it. And like I say, that's just insane. That's something that I think he set out to achieve. You know, he sent his, look at his scouting. He went all the way around the edge, and he knows there's extra sheep on the map. Look at Nikov's scouting. Hasn't gone all the way around and sent his scout a lot later.
Absolutely. Nicov staying at home, protecting that first docking Vil. But, you know, this is a map that is often decided on the water. Those sheep under TaToH's TC, they are really attractive to look at. Well, I don't mean it like that, but
well, okay.
it's nice to have them, but those sheep are going to be standing there for a while because right now it's all hands on deck to get down docks and to get out gold and wood. And I didn't mean for that to be a pun.
That was one of the best puns I've had, man. That was one of the best.
Well, we've got 2 docks coming from both guys. And my point here is just that those sheep are mostly just going to be standing around for a while.
Yeah, absolutely. They will be, but they are there in reserve. And we do have the fuelage in for both players now. All hands on deck. What do you like? Interesting, Nicov actually went for the 4th fishing ship as well. So TaToH is really going to be saving a lot of wood here, and I'd expect to see that 3rd dock ASAP from him. Nicov should be hanging around for the 3rd dock as well with this villager, but it should be potentially a little faster for TaToH in this case. Yeah, you can see already the 3rd dock's there. Nicov doesn't quite have the wood yet. Doesn't have the wood, still doesn't have the wood. He's building another house. And this is the difference with the 3 versus the 4 fishing ships.
Yeah, absolutely. Finding those sheep maybe gives you a little bit more incentive not to build the 4th fishing ship. But in any case, as you said, the 3 docks down is really the huge thing here. Nicov will be ready with his 3rd dock soon. He's going to be a little bit on the back foot. There may be time for him to get out enough Navy to hold this for now because TaToH has to sail across the map. But it's a narrow body of water. So if TaToH wants to try to put some pressure on, which he might with the early demo, he could try to swing this game early.
Yep, absolutely. This is the difference between Medi and Baltic. The rush distance is much shorter. Your opponent has less time to regroup, and the demo ships can change everything, but they cancel each other out. And now it's 3 versus 3 here. Galley Micro or Fire Galley Micro, it's not as impressive as Galley Micro, but it is important. And we're going to see TaToH adding the 4th ship, and this should be a good advantage for TaToH nice and early as that 4th fire comes in to get some additional damage. And he now has a small advantage, I would say.
Yeah, things are going pretty nicely here for TaToH. I think Nikov's done enough to tread water and kind of keep his hopes alive. 3rd dock is up. Military's still rolling out for him. His 4 fishing ships are alive. It's just not as easy of a position to play because under Nikov's TC, he just finished using 5 villagers to shoot through the last sheep. So now he's headed out to berries and deer, which is fine. But of course, you'd rather have the 10, 15 sheep that are still under TaToH's town center.
It's interesting because TaToH has still made a mill anyway. You'd think maybe he'd just, you know, ignore the mill, add a 4th dock, and just absolutely dominate on the water, or even go for a barracks and archery range and attack on land as well. But he's done the mill anyway. Well, you know, you need the mill at some point because you need a mill to build a market. A lot of people forget that. But still, it's interesting he's gone for it so early anyway, when he could take those wood gains and put them to use to win the water. Maybe he feels like he doesn't need to because he's winning the water anyway with some great demolition hits and an advantage in fire galley numbers.
Yeah, I think it's worth mentioning a couple of things, guys. Just a little foreshadowing. I haven't seen these games, but TaToH is somewhat famous, maybe infamous, you could say, for his demo ship play. He's had some really epic tournaments where demo ships are doing major blasts. So keep an eye out for that. Right now, we got to keep an eye on TaToH putting the pressure, the full court press onto Nicov, pushing Nicov back into his base, but kind of overextending himself a bit. TaToH's going to go back home with a lot fewer fire galleys here.
That's completely correct, and that's kind of a worry because, you know, he was perhaps confident that he was going to win the water there, and then as soon as you're fighting under your opponent's docks, quickly turns back around the other way. He still has a military lead, and he still has a better KD, but at the moment still on the 3 docks and not a conclusive victory on the water just yet. I did notice earlier, by the way, he killed Nikov's scout on the left side, so he's going to be able to scout over here and see what he can find. He's actually just patrolling now in case Nicov sends some villagers forward. What we will see is Nicov actually building a wall and closing off the left side of his base.
Yeah, Nicov has done enough here to keep himself competitive. He's doing just fine. He's actually got a couple villager advantage. Could be a difference in wheelbarrow. I didn't see if that came in or not. But ultimately, both players are still in it to win it. It's anybody's game. TaToH at the moment clicking to the castle age. Nicov needs a little bit more time.
Yep, and that I think explains the mill. Obviously, mill market. He even sold stone in order to buy some food to go up a little bit faster. Obviously, TaToH placing a lot of importance on this Castle Age upgrade. And he's even repairing up his ships now with a couple of vills as well. Definitely wants to make sure he wins the water as best he can. I noticed that Nicov has a few more demolition ships out, actually, or demo rafts out. But at the moment, both players sitting back. But the castle time, the difference in the castle time is huge.
Yeah, absolutely. Castle time is going to be in early for TaToH. He's going to have some upgrades on those ships. Of course, he just grabbed gold mining as well, so he's going to be in good shape eco-wise. We'll have a few less villagers than Nicov at the moment, but should have a really, really nice couple of minutes to try to make something happen with the upgrade advantage. Nikov's still hanging out under his dock, Zach, but he's still just on the edge of the military count of TaToH. So a tech advantage for the blue player could be massive in the next couple of minutes.
Yep, and Nikov's going to have to deal with a 1-minute Castle Age deficit, I suppose. And he's going to get ran back against the edge of the pond here. There's no way he can just run and escape TaToH. Oh, nice, though. He gets 2 demos for 1 there. That's pretty good going. But TaToH, as soon as Castle Age comes in, he's going to want to push this. And Nicov now adding a 4th dock. The 4th dock is already up for TaToH. And we're going to see War Galley immediately. No delays there, and we're going to see the push coming through as well. Can he get 3 fishing ships here? Nope, but he can get another good demo hit. And I don't know, I feel like if I was Nicov, maybe I'd go for the 3 fishing ships with that other demo. But for now, TaToH backing up, waiting for the upgrades, and then he's going to try and crush it on the front. We'll see what happens.
I think it's kind of the game within the game. I think TaToH was thinking Nicov will retreat to this top corner when I get my upgrade, so I'm going to attack him from that top corner. He comes in at the perfect time as the fire ships, as the fire galleys are upgraded to ships. Oh, and a couple demo shots.
Oh, the second demo was insane. It didn't actually hit a single fire galley directly, but the blast got 3, so that was huge. And now, obviously, a very big advantage for TaToH on the water, one which Nicov is not even going to be able to recover from at this rate because, well, everything's already dead. So, yeah, Nicov will gather inside of his docks. He's going to try and make more demolition ships to try and equalize things out. Making a run now for the fish with his remaining fire ships, and it looks like he might be able to get them. But still, huge start to the Castle Age for Nicov there, for TaToH there. And TaToH with a very solid advantage now as he sends 2 villagers out on the left side.
Maybe it was a beautiful attack, sending those ships from the right side. There was nowhere for Nicov to run. TaToH's reinforcements were coming from the south. The main navy was coming from the northeast. Beautiful little crushing attack there. And now Nicov is inside the docks, and he's up the creek without a paddle. This is going to be a really tough game for him. He can try to transition to land and try to make something happen. He can try to reboom. But I don't know, Zach. These docks look like they're going down.
Absolutely. And he's walled up right now. And just for the record, I added team colors just here because it's getting pretty hard to see the difference between green and blue on the water. So we got Nicov in the red now, just for everyone's clarification. Much easier to see, I think, especially with the fire ships because they're not very well colored. But yeah, he's going to try and push this back, and he might even do it, actually, as TaToH takes some big demo hits and suddenly looks outnumbered on the water. How did that happen? Well, I guess TaToH slacking off a little bit on military production, certainly taking a few too many demo hits that didn't go his way, and Nicov still actually competitive on the water here, which is impressive given that he lost his whole navy in the feudal age.
Yeah, there were a couple of very nice demo shots there. TaToH will retreat. He will try to reinforce, but the militaries, as you said, are equal. Both players have added in a second TC, so we'll see how this continues to shape up. TaToH adding in a monastery now, Nicov adding in his 3rd TC.
Yeah, it's actually very, very even all of a sudden as Nicov takes it back. And this is the thing that's, in my opinion, a very different... whoa, that was a good demo hit from TaToH, actually. But this is the difference in the water meta now versus then, you know, before.
Really good demo in the center. Sorry.
Yeah, no problem. Another good one indeed. But yeah, nowadays, with this fire ship and demo meta, it's much easier to win the water back. I think it's much easier. You know, you can never truly be safe in the knowledge you've won the water until all of your opponent's docks are dead, and Nicov kind of demonstrating that to us really nicely here. So that's interesting to me. If this was galley meta like the old days, TaToH would have won just it would have been it. It would have been over. But now you can add demo ships. You can fall back to your docks and blow your enemies up with your demos. You can add more fires. You can equalize, and that's exactly what's happening here with Nicov. But not only that, he's going to start pulling ahead, I imagine, in villagers with a third TC coming up. Never mind, TaToH has the third as well.
Yeah, 3 TCs for both sides. TaToH grabbing a couple of relics as we speak, trying to get his monks out across the map. It's probably worth noting that TaToH has a lot more of the map revealed. His early scouting and his killing of Nikov's scouts lets him know where the relics are. Nicov doesn't know much about the right side of the map. Doesn't really matter right now, but as the game continues on, always good to have that information.
Yeah, definitely, and you can see Nikov's actually walled up completely, so if TaToH does try anything sneaky on the land, he'll run against a wall there, even investing in stone walls on the left side. So we do see the wall off from TaToH on the left, but the right is wide open right now. We'll see if that comes into play later on, but for the time being, yeah, villager count neck and neck, trades on the water slightly in favor of Nicov, and military count slightly ahead for TaToH, but overall I'd say a very close game still.
Yeah, very close game indeed. 60 villagers approximately for both guys. They got about 8 navy each. They're continuing to trade blows with big demo hits. But yeah, this game is anybody's game to take. I think Nikov's done a really, really good job in the mid game here to show you that, well, you can fall a little behind and claw back. It's kind of rare to see people claw back on this map, but I'm kind of cheering for Nicov now that he's coming from behind here.
It's going to be pretty nice because obviously as the game gets later, more options open up and we might see a really good late game battle. But look at the farms of TaToH, man. I mean, that's kind of sloppy farm placement from him. Not sure what's going on there, but then you look at Nicov and it's like perfectly positioned. I mean, that's the farm placement goals I strive for. But this is a little sloppy. And then look at these farms on the right, man. That's going to actually cost him a lot of food income over the course of the game. I don't know how much exactly, but it might be that Nicov even gets Imperial faster as a result of these sloppier farms.
We will see how that shapes up. Right now, as you're looking at the eco, I just wanted to keep one eye on the water, and I'm just noticing TaToH adding in a couple of war galleys here. He's starting to transition his units over a little bit. That's kind of a natural transition to see at some point in the game, and I guess that point is going to be now for Mr. TaToH. Military right now is 12 for the blue player for TaToH and just 4 for Nicov. Nicov kind of slowing down production for a moment and losing a couple of ships.
Yeah, interesting. And obviously his demo's getting picked off by the war galleys here. One thing I want to see Nicov do now is careening, get that ship armor so you can deal with the war galleys. But he also has an additional dock, so he should be able to catch up in military count, but it's difficult. He's going to have to take some good trades. He's definitely going to need to kill off these war galleys, but interesting that TaToH's made the switch now when he doesn't even have Bodkin Arrow yet, actually.
Oh, interesting. I didn't realize he didn't have it. Yeah, that is an interesting early switch, but I guess he needs to, he wants to get that range and micro advantage going. The water is going well for TaToH. Just a couple of small notes. He did kill one villager that Nicov was sneaking off to the right side, probably just to wall up a little bit more aggressively. TaToH is grabbing nearly all the relics that I can see on the map. He's slowly going to bring those back to his monastery. So TaToH is kind of turtling up, or not turtling up, but getting some relics, getting some late game advantage. As you said, transitioning over to the war galleys. Bodkin Arrow is on the way. Nikov's going to have to make some plays here, and I guess it's going to be Imp very soon for him.
Yes, I would expect him to be a little faster to Imp. We will see. Careening coming in now. Good question in the chat. Actually, someone asked, why do they fight for the water? I mean, so it kind of seems like almost a little pointless, right? Like they're just fighting for the water, but yeah. You can do a lot with the water control. Of course, you can fish. Neither player is even fishing right now because all the fishing ships died. But the map control. If you have galleons with, Bracer, you can range a lot of the map from the water's edge, and you get so much map control with that. You do so much damage with that. It's a huge advantage to have that in your control. So it's all about the map control. It's about fishing sort of secondarily as well, and also being able to land across your enemy and catch them out by surprise as well. But Nicov up to Imp a little bit faster. It was close in the end. But now Nikov's pushing out to the left side and building barracks right in the line of sight of TaToH there.
Yeah, that was an interesting moment. TaToH had a villager walking forward to do some more walling, just happened to serendipitously find that forward vill, and now Nicov is on the run, a couple of monks in chase. I imagine those forward barracks were going to be pumping out condos. and trying to catch TaToH by surprise. But TaToH is on the ball, Zach, so I think he's going to be fine here.
Yeah, we will see how this develops on this side, because at the moment, I mean, TaToH sees everything that's happening, and he may be in a position to win the water as well, actually, as he's got 18 military out versus the 8 of Nicov. That's going to be hard to come back, and there's not a significant Imperial Age difference like before.
Yeah, and Stonewall's coming in for the blue player to solidify the position. He can probably surmise that there's going to be some condos knocking on his door soon, so why not wall them out while you can? It's looking like TaToH's in a very nice controlled position, but Nicov will hit Imp first, and we'll see if he can push back either on the water or the land.
We will see indeed. He's got mostly fire ships, so we'll expect to see fast fires coming in. And with TaToH having mostly war galleys, he is being countered here. So I do think that Nicov should be able to win the water back if he continues with the fires. We do have TaToH switching into fires, fast fires as well. But Nicov will have the upgrade a few seconds faster, like 5 seconds. Will it make a difference? Probably not too much of a difference, but we will see. Meanwhile, TaToH continuing to wall out on the left side, actually. Just watching the fight in the middle, however. More demolition ships coming forward. Nicov getting some good trades. Look at the KD right now. It is still very close. Just 5 KD difference at the moment as the fast fires start coming out for TaToH as well. And it looks like he will be winning the water still. Very good stuff for TaToH here.
Yeah, it's interesting, actually. I'm looking a little bit on land, and I'm trying to count the number of barracks. TaToH with 1 barracks up and a couple of condos coming out. On the other side of things, Nicov has 4 barracks up and more on the way. So his condo numbers are going to be a little more intense, and he's going to have to try to make something happen, I suppose, on land because, well, there's a lot of blue out there on the sea. It's 25 Navy or so, maybe about 20 Navy for TaToH.
Yeah, what we need to see now is a landing attempt. I mean, of course, TaToH could try and break through these walls. In fact, there's just a house wall on the left side, so he could do that. But a landing from TaToH with some condottiero, go straight down the middle, start raiding the wood line and the gold here from Nicov on the front. That could be pretty devastating to Nicov. Obviously, TaToH's trying to wall up this left side again, make it not once but twice walled up, so that he has a little extra layer of protection. As you say, Nicov throwing down a lot of barracks here, but TaToH with good numbers and keeping those villagers away from constructing anymore.
I'm really interested to see what TaToH is going to do in the next couple of seconds. He's got 650 stone in the bank. A defensive castle seems fine, but it's not out of the question. We've seen TaToH do it before. A landing and castle drop could be a really crazy moment here. So keep an eye on the blue player, TaToH, and see what he decides to go for. He does control the water, so he can put a castle in a lot of places. Let's see where it goes.
Man, on this right side, if he dropped it on this right side near the gold and the monastery, like, he could kill every single villager out here. You know, just dropping it there. If it doesn't get noticed, he could start raiding with some condos behind it. That would be huge. Add some Genoese crossbow, just do some more damage. But he's actually going to drop it on the left side. And it seems to me, it's interesting. He values this left side so much. And I was thinking, why is that? Well, look at the extra golds. It certainly favors TaToH if he has these extra golds in his control. And that's 6 gold piles there and a hell of a lot of walls to protect it. Maybe even fortified wall will come through at some point as he builds up the castle here and just tries to defend this left flank.
Yeah, and I think your previous point about controlling the water is coming to fruition now for TaToH as war galleys are sitting on the edge, galleon on the way, and they're kind of sniping away at these wood lines as much as they can. Nicov is, for now, still out of range, but not really. There's a couple vills still being annoyed there. So TaToH using that water advantage. I think TaToH right now just has to make sure that the condo numbers and maybe some siege doesn't turn into a big surprising push. If he doesn't get caught by surprise, I think our player TaToH is in a really good spot to take this game. But hey, Nikov's still here. He's on 116 vills. Anything could happen.
Yeah, absolutely. Honestly, right now, TaToH is in such a good position, though. I think it's the chances for Nicov are getting quite slim, but we will see how this develops because he is adding in archery ranges on the left side. He's doing chemistry, so we'll see some hand cannons. But the threat of the galleons on the water, you know, it gives him vision, it gives him chip damage against his economy, it gives him chip damage against his army. If he gets close to the shore, he can start taking down buildings. Look at the houses going down from the fast fires, for example. It's just constant alarm bells ringing for Nicov as well, and it just all adds up to this sort of feeling of being overwhelmed, you know.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, condos are a really nice unit if you're inside your opponent's base or if you have a path to your opponent's base. But right now, Nikov's big investment into condos, which he does have a decent number of, has yet to pay any dividends. There's just so many stone walls between him and pay dirt. He's going to get his first bombard cannon out. He'll have a couple of hand cannons to go along with it. And he'll try to make a push, but TaToH is pushing on the other side with a few condos of his own. Notably, guys, TaToH's still sitting on 4 relics, so in a very nice place gold-wise.
Yeah, absolutely, and the other relic is at the back of Nikov's base. He's not collected it himself. This right side now being raided hard. This is going to fall, I think, because Nicov does not have enough production over here, and he doesn't have it walled up either. Even if he did have it walled up, TaToH could transport anyway, but Nikov's making it easy for him. He doesn't even need to transport, and Nicov going for crossbow right now as well. He's got hand cannons, but he's also going for crossbow and arbalest. That's interesting. I don't think that's necessarily... Well, I don't think that's necessary even, to put that another way, because hand cannons should do the job that the archers would do anyway against the condos here. Actually, no, what am I talking about? Sorry, I'm being a fool. Arbalest will be better, because of course condos get defense against the gunpowder. It's something that I forget because it's so rarely that you see them used in that way. They're always being used to raid and not as an actual counter to gunpowder.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's a good point. I think that I think you worked that all out. You don't even need me here. You got it. You're all under control. That push from Nicov on the left side is not going to be enough. He's going to end up giving the GG here. TaToH with a really nice game. And, you know, Zach, this felt like a chess game. Like players fought for the middle of the map, which you often do early game. And then it was, do I want to fight on the left, on the king side, or on the queen side? And at the end of this game, TaToH was in the right place at the right time to win the water. He was able to basically wall up the whole left side of his map with stone walls and make a push on the right and finish the game nicely. I think that my expectation was TaToH would be a bit better on a map that has so much water. But he converted a nice win here, and he's going to go up 2-1.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think we sort of favored TaToH in this match. We said at the start, TaToH was our favorites to win. And he does get a comfortable victory, I think. It was well fought on the water, a lot of back and forth, but TaToH had the edge in the end. I wonder how much of that was due to his sheep. You have to ask the question. That was insane. I mean, that's really a huge advantage to have all those sheep. But all in all, a lot of map control in the end, water control, and TaToH gets the W, as Nilly would say. Let's go and have a quick look at the statistics. Looks like the overlay is frozen, so I'm going to fix that right now. And hopefully we can get the statistics going here. Oh, interesting. That's not working. Strange. Let me figure that out. But you can see the statistics anyway. I'll quickly reset the overlay thing and get that back up and running.
Yeah, and as you do that, Zach, I'll remind everyone that we got a best of 5 here. This could go all the way to 5 games. Zach and I are blinded to the results. We did have some minor technical difficulties early, so 16 GMT approximately is the next set, but you know, it could be 16:15 or something like that. So don't feel like the time that we are in the day is a spoiler. It doesn't mean that the next game is going to be an elimination game. We're just a little behind on time. Anything could happen, guys, and I can't wait to see the next match here with Zach.
Yep, that's right. We are a little behind on time, so apologies for that. Always a couple of technical difficulties at some point. Seems like I fixed the overlay system, and we can see some stats as well. I mean, TaToH just ahead across the board there, really. And I think that's kind of expected, as he looked pretty dominant in that game. But what we're going to do right now is take a very short 2-minute break. We'll be back in just a moment's time. We've got Bedouins next, another very open, very aggressive, crazy map. We'll be back in just a second. All right, guys. Don't forget, we're giving away an HTC Vive Pro. You can enter the giveaway for free by clicking below the stream and clicking on the little banner right there. Now, I'm wondering if I'm still blocked from donating more subs. Let's find out, shall we?
Drum roll, please.
And we're still blocked. Okay. I'll have to contact support about that one. But, okay. We got game 4 coming up. We've got Bedouins next. Just need to check some... 1 second here. Seems like the Spanish stream has an issue with the overlay as well, so need to tell them how to fix that. Yep, sub blocked. Feels bad, man. But thank you guys for the subs. I'm gonna read out some thank yous while the Spanish stream fixed their overlay system. Let me just get that up real quick. Thank you to Bale Adam, Mr. Mage, Dream of Sky, Holy Roman Viking, Justice for Pluto, and MC Parmenheim. Thank you guys for subbing. Beldorus as well. And I'm going to scroll down and see if I missed any others, because obviously Carlini gave like hundreds away, so that's kind of filling up my feed here, Carlini. Thank you to Hype Hooray, Wootman, Derp276, Polaco 333, Siakono 0, Panzer Botnen, Philip 961, Dark Matter 90, Asterixon 3, Scarface. I guess that's Scarface Frostborn on an alt. I don't know, but if it's not, you've got a doppelganger. 200 Pop, Adharshur 6, and Jay Culling. Thank you everybody for subscribing and supporting this channel. We really appreciate that. Mighty Chicken Warrior as well, subbing with Twitch Prime. And we really appreciate that. If you want to support further, of course, you can actually donate as well. And all of the donations are actually split between all of the casters and admins. So if you want to say thanks, Robo, for doing all of the work behind the scenes, donations are split between him and Escape Gaming. We actually get none of that. So, yeah, feels Escape, man.
And what a cool world we live in, Zach. As you're thanking all the new subs and all the people for the support, I was trying to explain to my parents how this Twitch thing works, and they were like, "Huh? Like people just tune in and they can watch for free if they want, but why would they donate?" And it's like, you got a bunch of guys who love a game, and we've had that for so many years, but now we finally have a cool platform here on Twitch to be able to basically, you know, make this tournament happen, right? Like this type of thing doesn't happen without a good platform. And you guys at Escape have done a really great job to pull it off. I feel lucky to be part of it, and I hope people out there viewing are enjoying it. I mean, oh man, it's a win for everybody. It's awesome.
Yeah, I'm definitely hoping, at least, that we can keep this going. And obviously, you know, one of the big things for us is trying to create, like, as you say, a tournament platform where we can grow. And I was actually fortunate enough to see Tony Hawk speaking in San Francisco last week. And he was saying, you know, a rising tide lifts all ships. And that's something that I really like. And, you know, if we can continue to get bigger audiences, we can continue to get more support from Microsoft. Who knows? Next year we could be doing a 6-figure prize pool, and we could do more, better, cool stuff. That's the goal. That's what we want to achieve, and we hope that by doing that, we can benefit the whole community as well.
Yeah, it's amazing, and thanks everybody for the support. I know we're sitting here, you know, enjoying the games. I'm sure a lot of people are getting impatient, but it is really worth mentioning that, man, you know, it's just amazing that we can do this. It's really amazing. Anyway, I'll be quiet over here. I'm a fanboy. I'll let you do your thing for a minute.
Yeah, we're going to start the game now. The Spanish stream had an issue with overlays, and I'm not sure what the issue is or how to fix it. So I've just told them they can disable their overlays if there's a problem. But we're going to get our 4th game of the series. This could be the last game if TaToH takes the win on Bedouins here. And that would be a 3-1 victory if he does. If Nicov takes it, then we're tied up at 2-2. And we will be going into game 5 on Arabia afterward. It's all to play for as we go into match point game 4. Nicov, TaToH, and we're going to be remaining with the team colors as well, because I think it's easier for people to see. And it seems like the chat wants to see the team colors as well. We've got TaToH in the blue, we've got Nicov in the red, and Killer B, it's a nomad start.
Yeah, absolutely. I love this map. This is a really, really fun map. I can't wait to see it shape up. Why pick Chinese? Well, you get the extra villagers early on, so you can try to get your TC up a little more quickly. Both players will look to get their town centers up on an area that has good natural resources. These ponds are all over this map, or, well, not all over it, but, you know, randomly distributed. So finding that shore fish is a huge bonus. You want to have a good wood line. And this map can be really open and really intense. And Zach, I often see people win this game with either scouts or towers. What are your thoughts on this matchup between Nicov and TaToH? What will they go with, and how will this shape up?
Well, they've both gone for Chinese, of course, since they get the additional villagers at the start of the game. And since you have shorefish immediately, you are going to be able to get that villager production going very, very quickly, and then have the additional villagers to work with. For that reason, you can pull off pretty fast feudal times, as you can obviously take advantage of the faster fish gathering speed. And then we could see the scouts coming out. That's not out the question. We could see a combination of scouts and towers. But I would hazard to guess that we would see scouts here in this case. Maybe a transition into archers a little later on, as they will probably want to be going for, well, to be honest, there's a lot of options. I mean, you could go for crossbow in the castle age, but if they're able to control the ponds and get a lot of food and get castle quite quickly, then knights could be a superior option, since they will be more powerful in smaller numbers.
Yeah, very well said. And I think keeping with the theme of this this leg of the tournament, we're going to have a map that can be decided pretty early. It doesn't have to be, but it's so open, it's so intense. We should see scouts roaming around and trying to basically attack at all corners. We could see this game early on swing in one player's favor. Just a quick note on scouting. Of course, players are sheep scouting because it's a nomad start. And Nicov has a really nice bit of scouting done. Whoa. He found a few more sheep early, and he's kind of methodically covering a lot of the map with those sheep.
Yeah, I mean, look at that, man. He's got so much vision. And of course, you can use those sheep to scout for a long while, because you don't need them back at home since you're gathering the shorefish. That's amazing. And look at the score difference that's giving him as well. It's a 200 score difference right now. Not because he has so many more villagers or so many resources collected, just because his sheep have eyes and they're relaying that information back to Nicov. We also see the second mill from... Oh, sorry, we do see the first mill from Nicov much earlier than TaToH. So he's going to be grabbing the straggler trees, or the trees near to his TC. I think it's a bit more efficient for him, as obviously TaToH's had to build a lumber camp already to grab wood. So I like Nikov's starting position better. I like the fact he's got more scouting information, and that scouting information is going to tell him exactly where TaToH is, I would presume, as he sees the chopped wood here through the fog of war.
It's so satisfying to watch Nicov scouting. It feels like a 1990s screensaver. You just got little red dots revealing black areas. Oh, it's so nice. But I'll try to focus.
That's such a great analogy. You know, I remember back in the 90s, I used to go to sleep, and there was a computer in my room, and I'd like leave the screensaver on. Just because I liked that, it was so relaxing to me, you know, watching the stuff flying around the screen.
Yeah, man, this is really nice. I'm definitely making a screensaver out of this, but I digress. I do want to make sure that that I focus in. I tend to get a little bit excited about little details. Just watching these guys shorefish, we have seen TaToH add in, or Nicov add in a mill to the south of his base. TaToH adding in a mill as well. Pretty standard meta on this map. Both guys should be racing to the feudal age, and it will be Nicov clicking up first to the feudal age. He does have loom and 19 vills. It looks like TaToH will get one more villager out before clicking up.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, you've got to think Nikov's got the edge, right? I mean, what doesn't he have right here in his favor? He's actually going for the second mill right now in the south. And I'd say, actually, the mill from TaToH was better because it's between two ponds, and he's going to be able to fish that for longer before they run out, whereas obviously Nicov just has fish on one side. But still, I mean, they're going to be adding more mills as the game goes by anyway. But we saw in the very first game, the one that TaToH won, the really high aggression from TaToH and how that worked out. Does TaToH know where Nicov is? I think he does, because you can see he's lost his sheep in the fog of war here. So he knows that Nikov's in this area, and that means he could get very aggressive very quickly if he wants to do that as well.
Yeah, TaToH's barracks is down pretty early, but we have not seen anything queued up in there. He's going to be on the way to feudal age in just a moment. Nicov is powering down his barracks so that he can time out the early stable drop, I would suppose. Nikov's still a little shy on wood, actually, as he hits the feudal age, so he actually won't afford a stable just yet, but momentarily.
Yeah, he's going to just have it. There you go. He can do it now, and the stable will come up. It's going to be a few seconds faster than TaToH, but it's not going to be too much of a difference overall. TaToH even scouts it with that sheep there, so the sheep really very useful to these guys, as he just does a little drive-by and sees, hey, there's a stable coming up and I know exactly where it is. Not like the most valuable information, but hey, if he built an archery range, then TaToH could use that information to his advantage. It would be very strange to see an archery range opening though, so pretty much certain that even if he didn't scout the stable, he would know it was there.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we're going to see scouts here. Obviously, both players with stables. We got a couple spears out already for TaToH. He's trying to get forward and find his opponent, but he will find the town center there on the side. Nicov is walling up the left side with palisades, trying to get some structure going. It's a good strategy. You just can't get out of control with it, and he is going to palisade up the right as well. I can just tell you from watching a lot of games, a lot of matches on this map, those palisades, that time is actually kind of important. It provides a lot of great structure, but if you get too greedy, it can actually be a detriment to you on this map. So Nicov is being really conservative with those walls. Let's see how it plays out.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, it's a good idea because you're going to have peace of mind that, hey, if I push out, I'm not going to have 4 scouts running in on my flank and, you know, completely blindside me. He's got everything he needs back here. He's got lots of food. He's got the gold. He's got boar. He's got berries. He's got wood. So he can make a nice, safe enclave at the back and then push out on the front here as he is doing now. We can see at the moment that the military count, 10 military for TaToH. How has he managed that? Has he just made that many spearmen? I think he has.
Yeah, TaToH's got a good number of spears out, a good number of scouts out, and he's got a blacksmith down with forging on the way as he transitions over to gold. So TaToH will have a nice high-quality army, but his opponent, Mr. Nicov, will be maybe fully walled off very soon. Nicov roaming around to the north with 3 scouts, Zach, looking to put a little damage down. I don't know if he'll find it. I don't think he'll find it, but he's looking to do something with those units. TaToH has found the walls, and he will now go back with his scouts and think of a new plan.
Absolutely. And, you know, it's a very different approach from both of these players. You've got TaToH going for the mass spearman defense and then walling up his fishing villagers like this with the palisades, but that does leave him a little bit more open, a little bit more susceptible to damage, and you can see that as the market gets slowed down a little bit. But you can see the castle age as well for TaToH. It's nearly there, and like I say, pretty common to see players going for that faster castle time and hence going straight into knights and camels rather than making the standard Arabia style transition into archers. It's a big difference with this map, and forging is there for TaToH. He's got the greater numbers of scouts, so he'll kill the scouts from Nicov, and Nikov's fine with that in a way because he knows those scouts can't damage him at home and the castle age is coming through. And actually, whoa, he's actually adding an archery range at the back. Interesting decision from him.
Yeah,
I feel like Knights has got to be stronger.
Double ranges here and a closed down map for Nicov. I haven't seen this work out that many times. I think it's working out well for him so far, and if anybody's going to pull it off, it's going to be Nicov. But just watching this map a lot in the past, it's just really difficult if you lose this much map control early on. TaToH's on the way to castle as well. Let's see how this shapes up. For now, those scouts are roaming around looking for somebody to do damage to. Anybody's game at this point, Zach, but we got to cheer for Nicov. It's a best of 5. We want to see another game, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I just feel like Nikov's strat here is not very momentum based. Like he's going to be castle first. He could make the first knight and be on the other side of the map raiding a wood line in a few seconds, right? Alternatively, he could make some archers and he could sit behind his walls for a bit and concede even more map control to TaToH when TaToH goes up and starts making some knights. So, you know, I feel like it's a very passive style here.
It's really weird too. Nicov has a lot of resources in the bank and he has not queued up an archer yet that I've seen.
It's got to be CA, right?
Okay.
Which is it's fine. It's fine. But again, like, you know, he could he's not making any units in the feudal age, and CA is actually probably it's definitely better than going crossbow here. But still, he might concede some map. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see if he can do this. I really think Nicov can pull this off. It's just, you know, the statistics in my mind, maybe I'm just a little biased of having seen this map a lot, is that this strategy can be hard to pull off. However, it is incumbent on what TaToH decides to do as well. So we still have a lot of decisions left to be made. It does seem like TaToH is going to go with extra TCs, 2 town centers right away to try to defend more of his territory. So less walls, more TCs on TaToH's side at the moment. Nicov spending a lot of resource on triple range cav archers. I suppose if he catches TaToH off guard, he can get a major momentum swing here, Zach. I guess we'll see.
TaToH's queuing more scouts.
Is he?
Yes.
Interesting.
Yes, he is. And meanwhile, Nikov's making the... why? Okay. Maybe he's anticipating some monks or something? Like, it seems... That seems strange to me. He's being quite greedy, adding the 2nd and 3rd TC, making, like, no military, even doing a 4th TC at the back. And this actually plays into Nikov's hands quite nicely because his cav archers can get around and raid. And what are the scouts doing exactly here?
We'll have to ask TaToH next time we see him, but maybe he misread this a bit. He thought his opponent was turtling behind those walls, but he is not. Nicov is here with a couple cav archers. The 4 town centers for TaToH will help a bit, but like you said, that cav archer mobility will be a real problem. Scale barding armor coming. We got a couple camels out for the player in blue. We'll see if he can hold this. Certainly going to have an eco advantage if he can hold this off.
Yep, the scouts, of course, in response to the monks of Nicov, but not in response to the cav archers, which came up completely behind the walls of Nicov, and I think completely catches TaToH off guard. You know, I don't think you expected that. It's not really a common unit choice for the Chinese, but it's certainly reasonable. They get bloodlines, they get all the upgrades they need in the castle age, so why not? And Nicov even coming forward now with a villager as well. Perhaps we'll see that forward siege workshop drop. There it is, and yeah, we see some mangonels coming out as well. So this is going to be interesting. The scouts need to pick off the monks here if he wants his camels to be effective, but the heals he keeps them all alive.
Yeah, those monks are going to make it to see another day, and they will continue to be reinforced by more cav archers. That forward siege workshop is coming. Notably, guys, the counter for TaToH is going to be a castle. He's taking a lot of stone back at home. I suppose he's going to try to hold the line with a castle drop, but he is going to need to find the right time and the right location for that castle, or else Nicov might just steamroll him here. So keep an eye. This game could be decided very soon.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, Nikov's not neglecting his economy. He's not going all in. You know, this is an elimination game. If he loses this, he's out. So he doesn't want to play too risky. But at the same time, you know, he's keeping that pressure up. He's adding the second siege workshop. And TaToH may be being a little bit more greedy with the 6th TC now. Is that 6 or 5? I don't know. Counting is hard. 1, 2, 3, 4. He's got 5 TCs. Trying to keep his villagers safe from Cav Archer raiding, understandably. But that castle, like you say, going to be pretty important for TaToH, and it's going to be coming up any second now.
Yeah, TaToH's sitting on the stone. We'll have to wait and see where he's going to drop it. His TC up in the north is under too much pressure, I think, to get that castle down. So it's going to have to go somewhere else. But yeah, 5 TCs on this map was not something I anticipated from TaToH. We'll see if he can pull it off. Right now, there is a little mango fight in the center of the map. TaToH able to kill that forward Vilzac. And I was talking with the Viper one time. He was saying that forward Vil can be so much more important than we give it credit for sometimes as casters. She's out there trying to build up those military buildings and keep the pressure on. You got to walk another villager across the map now to build that building.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And wow, Nicov taking quite a lot of damage there from those mangonels. He picks off one, but one still survives. Meanwhile, tower being rushed up next to his TC. The TC could go down here as TaToH tries to micro his mangonel. Trades 1 for 1. But yeah, that is getting a little messy for TaToH up in the north, as he might just lose the TC here and then rely on that tower to keep him safe. But hey, there's a lot of units around here, and Nicov, sorry, can do the damage. We'll see him picking off the mangonel here and not risking his own mangonel to do it. Nicely done. And yeah, I think Nikov's in a great position. TaToH's not out, but he's definitely been a bit of a greedy boy, adding in that 5th TC.
Yeah, that town center on the right, it just feels doomed. Mangonel's firing away on it. TaToH's going to add in another tower and grab fletching to try to keep that side alive a bit longer. TaToH sniping a mango, though, from the left side. He's sneaking in and grabbing a mango here and there, maybe keeping his hopes alive. Another mango goes down.
Yeah, man, he's actually delaying this pretty well. And at the same time, he's keeping a villager advantage. You know, he might have gathered less resources in total since he's been repairing so much and he's been idled so much on this right side. But yeah, it's quite back and forth over here. The KD is relatively close. And now we have TaToH with that castle in the front protecting 2 of his TCs as well. So Nicov hasn't really done any long-term serious damage here at this point in the game.
Yeah, a very nice pop-out strategy, getting those Cav Archers out, but it hasn't totally won him the game. I think Nikov's got some good momentum, but like you said, TaToH's on 5 TCs, and he has somehow kept that one on the right side of his base alive. Nikov's still roaming around looking for somewhere to do damage. He will start to knock on the initial TC of TaToH, and it looks like TaToH is just going to straight give up that town center because he can't defend it.
Yeah, and like I say, he's been so greedy. He's made some mangonels, but he's really not made a lot else. He's still adding another mangonel now, but he's already behind in the mangonel war, and it's very difficult to come back when your opponent outnumbers you in mangonels. It's hard to hit that 2-for-1 shot. It's hard to get that 2-for-1 trade. And when you've got a player like Nicov who's paying attention, he's on the ball, it's tough for TaToH to actually find the damage here and equalize the mangonel counts. He's actually going to get housed after losing that house on the front, which is kind of awkward. In fact, I don't even know if he's building another house right now, so he is completely and utterly housed, which is kind of funny. Not really a common strat, but hey, it can definitely be a thorn in your opponent's side.
Yeah, absolutely. I just wanted to note that TaToH has started to add in some Chuko Nu out of his castle. We have not seen that many camels or cavalry coming from him as of late. TaToH's got a little base on the left side of the map that's just totally sticking out like a sore thumb, hiding in the fog of war for now, that Nicov has not been able to find. It's always interesting to see, you know, 6 or 8 villagers just totally exposed. But for now, Nicov with that big army, like you said, that big mangonel advantage is going to be hard to push against. And now bloodlines and ballistics for Nicov.
Yep, and I think that Nicov could maybe, if he finds this out here, that would be great. He'd kill some Vils. The villager difference is not too big. And oh, the camels are coming in. They're going to take out one of the mangonels. Maybe they'll get 2 or 3 mangonels. That's really good. Where were the conversions for Nicov? I think he misclicked. He only got 1 conversion with 4 monks. He must have used all of the monks to convert 1 camel. And yeah, with that, TaToH's going up to Imp. He certainly delayed Nicov long enough, and now the Imperial Age is coming in, the Chuko News are coming out. We're probably going to see Onagers. Maybe, well, he's actually going for Scorpions, interestingly enough. I'd like to see Onagers, to be honest, but maybe it's a bit too expensive if he's doing all these other things as well.
Yeah, the decision making in the next few minutes is going to be really, really important. TaToH's done a great job to kind of hold the line, keep his hopes alive. Nikov's still here knocking on the front door, but now just with one Mangonel. TaToH sneaking in from the right, could get a pretty good Mango shot here, Zach. He will take down 1 for 0 Mangonels, and he might get a good shot on the Cav Archers. We'll see.
Yeah, you know, Nikov's micro is strong as always, but he can't out-damage the repairing of those 4 villagers, so he has to back up with the tower there. But yeah, Scorpion seems like an odd choice to me, especially with Nicov making so many Mangonels, and I don't know, we'll see if he continues to go down that route. But yeah, for now, the Imperial Age upgrade, quite significant advantage for TaToH. TaToH's wheelbarrow incredibly late, but he doesn't have that many farms, so it's actually kind of excusable, as he's been mostly relying on the shorefish. And oh, he's going to be found on this left-hand side. We might see 4 new villagers on Nikov's side any second now.
Yeah, Nicov will convert a couple vills, kill a couple of vills, finally putting the kibosh on that free eco from TaToH on the left side. While he's killing that left side, TaToH is dropping a new TC on the right side. So the villager count is about equal. Imperial Age is coming for both guys. TaToH's going to have it sooner. TaToH's going to have a good group of Chuko Nu, and as you said, on Nikov's side of things, well, he's still got quite a good number of Cav Archers and some Siege to go with it.
Yeah, the numbers of military, though, are very close. In fact, now the villager count is even very close as well. It's still all to play for at the moment. Of course, TaToH will be Imperial first, but he won't have that much time to capitalize on it, especially since he's going for the much slower Chuko Nu build. And also, we're going to see Nicov, once he's in Imp, I mean, what do you think he's going to do here, actually? It's interesting. He's adding in more ranges, and he's actually going for skirms. But he's going to have a lot of gold banked up if he's just making skirms. So we're going to see some siege, perhaps, to support that. And we'll see some castles coming up from him eventually as well.
I love the disdain in your voice when you say skirms. He's making skirms.
God.
Yeah.
What's he doing? Skirms?
Those skirms are coming out pretty hot and heavy. Bracer and Chemistry on the way to beef them up now that Nicov is up to the Imperial Age. He's going to have Sanctity coming. Monks, skirms, and some Siege, I suppose, is on the cards for us, but we'll find out soon. TaToH on the other side, a few Rams out, a few Chuko Nu out, and a couple of Mangonels as well. TaToH's adding in a few more stables, though, Zach, and a couple camels to go along with it. So he will have a really diverse army. And here comes Crossbowman and Thumbring for Nicov. Crossbowman on the way.
Interesting. So he's going down the Arbalest route here, opting to just, you know, lay down the production of Cav Archers, use them while he can, and then switch into something else. TaToH, meanwhile, going heavy Camel as the first castle from Nicov comes up. We already have 2 Trebs out for TaToH, though, and if he comes forward now, he might see that and take the castle down. But yeah, I mean, skirms here for Nicov. It's not too bad, but all in all, you know, Elite Chuko Nu with full upgrades would deal with them quite easily, especially if they're supported with Mangonels. But that's not really the route that TaToH's going for here. He's going for the heavy camels instead, and he's doing Elite Skirmisher himself. So we're going to see, like you say, a really diverse, good, strong mix of units from TaToH here. And really, you know, the focus will be on getting the trades with the Siege. The Siege is going to be super important in this matchup. And we're going to see that for both players here as they add more Trebs, add more Siege Workshops, and start that Siege production.
Yeah, just a quick reminder to people who might be just tuning in. This is a best of 5. We are doing the 1v1 Champions League Middle East leg of the tournament. We're in the semifinals. We've got TaToH and Nicov. Of course, it's an elimination game. It's game point right now. If Nicov loses, if he wins, we'll go on to a 5th game. Right now, both players are, you know, spending as fast as they can get it, trying to beef these armies up in the Imperial Age, Zach. We got Onager coming. We've got Elite Skirmisher. Those Cav Archers are still alive for Nicov. Whose military composition do you like better here?
Well, I did say I thought TaToH would go for Onager himself, and now it's Nicov with the Onagers coming out. I like that. I think he's got a really solid, well, if he gets plenty of Onagers out and Trebs, he's got a really solid position. the heavy camels are interesting because they will deal quite nicely with the skirms and the mangonels as well. So Nicov will need something else to round this army out, and those cavalry archers probably won't last too long, at least not for a while. So maybe we'll see the Chuko Nu coming out for Nicov as well, just to completely round the army out.
Yeah, TaToH seems poised to build a lot of heavy camels, but I only see 5 or 6 right now. His stables are all idle last time I checked.
Okay.
I think it's a good call because, like you said, it counters multiple units on the other side, but doesn't have too many.
Yeah, and he's even going for Cavalier now as well. It's almost like he wants one of everything, and then he'll be satisfied. Then he'll make the play. Seems like, I mean, I don't want to say he's throwing this, but with the faster Imperial time, the bigger economy, it seems like he's stalled a little bit here.
Yeah, I'm not sure if he's going to be able to turn this thing around. It's been a couple of awkward minutes. Did get a lot of upgrades, but didn't build a lot of units of any particular type. Chuko Nu are still not elite. Now he's going for Cavalier. The Chus right now are going to do a good job with a little raiding, but they're not going to last long because elite skirms are here. Nicov seems to be taking this game over with some good late game unit composition choices.
You know, in like game 2 or 3 where we said, hey, they had both had the same number of technologies researched. I think TaToH is trying to like one up Nicov here. He's like, I can get more techs than you. But yeah, he's sending out his heavy camels now. He's got his Cavalier out as well. Looks like Nicov might lose all of his Trebs for the second time today. We will see, as one of the conversions does get one of the Cavalier, but the Trebs should be focused, and Nicov will be pushed back a little bit by TaToH. Military count still way in the advantage for Nicov, but a lot of his army is out of position, but he needs to get those onagers over there. Man, if those onagers were in the picture, he could take down all the Trebs, he could start to push back, but like I say, he needs support for that as well, and at the moment, looks like it's TaToH taking some momentum in the north here.
Yeah, this does remind me a lot of one of the earlier games. Maybe it was game 2 as well, where TaToH was able to push out and get some really great value. Nicov will have the onagers on the way over now, and TaToH is going to be in a lot of trouble. He's got an army that can kind of fight in tight space with elite skirms and Trebs, but once those onagers get close, it's going to be a real problem. Arbalest firing away. These Cavalier and Camels won't last long. And I think Nikov's going to put a good stamp on this game, and I hope we get to see a game 5.
Yeah, absolutely. I hope for the same, because more games, the better. It looks like Nikov's got a huge advantage here. He's got nearly double the military count. The onagers took down the Trebs, and now with very few cavalry in front of this army, we could see some bigger onager shots coming in to try and get those elite skirmishers at the back lines as well. Nice to see the cav archers still actually being used. He's positioning them behind the army in front, which is really good positioning from Nicov. He's controlling that really nicely, and yeah, I mean, we should see this TC coming down pretty soon as well at this rate. Where is the defense from TaToH now? He doesn't really have one. There's no castle to slow this down. There's no onagers to sit behind the TC and fire back, and I'd expect to see this push from Nicov, maybe even ending the game. On the right side, however, a little bit of raiding from TaToH now coming in.
Yeah, TaToH wants to get a couple of Cavalier out and see if he can cause a little chaos inside of Nikov's base. He's really hemorrhaging a lot of position on the left, still building a ton of elite skirms, because I suppose that's a cost-effective unit for him, but a few onagers kind of do put him in a corner on that side. So on the right, he'll add in a couple Cavalier. There's no camels here to stop him yet. Nicov is on the way to heavy camel, though, and as I say that, a couple camels arrive to clean up the Cavalier.
Yeah, and he's now aware of that, very well aware of that. I think Nicov needs to get Trebs out over here, though. He has got a castle, needs to start trebbing down these buildings, slowing down the production, maybe taking out the TC and making a run to the back of TaToH's base there. But yeah, he's obviously got to deal with the right side as well, where TaToH is actually mining quite a lot of gold. And at the moment, you know, TaToH actually has a 40 villager lead, which is significant. And he has to translate that into military production and catch up in the military count here.
Yeah, we talked earlier about how TaToH is so good at dealing with chaos. Well, right now he is dealing with some chaos. There's raiding on the right side of his base from cav archers. He's getting bludgeoned down on the left side of his base. He's trying to tread water on both sides and just kind of, you know, lose ground at a slow enough pace to build an army up behind this. But it is still a 40 military advantage for Nicov. Extremely difficult position for TaToH to be in, and those onagers are just lurking around. They are force multipliers. A couple good shots in this game could be bye-bye for TaToH.
Absolutely. You've got a huge discrepancy in villas, a 50 villager difference, but Nicov is making up for that with a much larger military, and he's hoping that he can actually win the game with that military. The problem is for Nicov, it's risky. If he loses all of these units, if he loses a fight, then TaToH's going to have much more economic oomph to bounce back and push this back as well. So Nikov's kind of in a risky position here with such a small number of villagers, but he's making it work at the moment as he pushes on the right side and starts to push down the middle. The TC is gone. The military production buildings are falling, and Nicov is continuing to push through and try to take down TaToH's eco as well. Great game so far. Looks like it's Nikov's game to lose at the moment, but we'll see how this plays out as TaToH here is kind of backed against the corner for the time being.
Yeah, it's a really great point about PopCap and PopSpace, and the chat is also all over it as well. TaToH, 140 vils, doesn't have as much space for military. He is kind of perpetually buffering around the PopCap. Nicov has probably deleted some vils because he's actually down to 90 villagers now. And like you said, that's going to give him a nice, larger space to build military. We are going to see Nicov with some rams as well, continuing to push on two fronts.
Man, and with all that considered, Nicov has gold for days as well. He's got nearly 2k gold in the bank right now, as TaToH's sitting on 500. So a bigger economy does not necessarily translate to more valuable resources. Looks like TaToH will clean this up somewhat on the right side. The Cav Archer's going down. The heavy camel is taking out the cap rams. But yeah, TaToH losing another TC there. And meanwhile, on the front, the aggression is still keeping up for Nicov here. He's continuing to push through, slowly but surely, packing the trebs, moving them forward, taking out some more buildings. But of course, Nicov does have to be a little careful of the right side, where TaToH has the gold here. I think that's his only gold at the moment.
Yeah, and TaToH is sitting on about 100 gold in the bank, and he's obviously spending that on units whenever he has population space to do so. Losing that gold would be really the end of the game, but TaToH keeps it alive for now. Nicov keeps working closer and closer on that left edge of the map, Zach. He's going to push into even more eco here and take over more territory. What is TaToH's win condition here at this point in the game, Zach? Like, in an ideal situation, how do you bring this game back from the brink?
Well, I think he's got to start banking up some more gold. And then I think if he makes Cavalier and Camels, like, he could push this back. But yeah, I think keeping up the raiding is going to be good. We know that Nicov has a fragile economy at the moment. He's got a lot more military, but most of it's forward. If he can raid and kill some more villagers, then it might be harder for Nicov to replenish his units. But man, if you just look at the military minimap and on Nikov's point of view, there's units everywhere, dude. They're on the right side, they're on the middle, they're on the top. Like, it's really difficult for TaToH to push past this and actually do any damage to Nikov's base.
Yeah, it's looking really good for Nicov. Like you said, the raiding could help a lot from TaToH. He's just got to scrape together some resources to try to make one big push here, to try to flip the momentum. Right now, he is going to push out with some light cav. He's going to try to take down some of those onager to slow down the push. But those light cav, they are not cavalier. They are getting absolutely swallowed up by arrow fire, and it does not look like they did too much damage there to the push of Nicov.
Yeah, now we've got light cav from Nicov running in at the back. I think this is GG here, actually, because TaToH's lost the gold on the right side too, and there's absolutely no win condition for him if he has to make trash here. You cannot win this game with skirms and pikes. That is not possible. Oh, okay, maybe it's possible, but it's so unlikely. It's improbable. So at this point, yeah, I think it's done, and I think we'll see Nicov getting the win in just a second. As he'll continue to take down more and more buildings, he'll continue to hunt down more villagers, and TaToH, yeah, he could replace those lost units with some trash, but trash is not going to contend this army of Nicov.
We've seen some great games today. I think it's worth mentioning that both of these players, when they've established a good advantage, have grabbed and held the territory that they were able to get. Right now, Nikov's got a massive advantage, and Nikov's not gonna throw a game like this. At this point, he's in a great spot. We're watching two really, really top pros, and I feel very fortunate that we're gonna probably get a game number 5 here in just a moment if TaToH decides that he can't see a win in sight anymore.
Yeah, TaToH's going to be below 100 pop in a minute, and that's going to be a GG moment for him. You know, he's got so many idols, 31 idols, and there you go. GG called. Nicov will take the win in game number 4, equalizing the series. This best of 5 just got a little bit spicier as we go into game number 5 next, which will be the decider. Well played by Nicov. I feel like there was some indecision from TaToH there. I don't know what you feel about this. He was faster to the Imperial Age. He had the better economy. And he didn't seem to translate that into any damage. He didn't translate that into anything at all, really.
Yeah, it's hard to be critical of a guy because he did earn that advantage, but I do think he kind of gave it away. He had a lot of upgrades on a very diverse set of units. We were talking about diversity at the time, but maybe some commitment to one individual unit could have been a little bit stronger. There was a moment where camels could have been really powerful. Cavalier could have been really powerful. But unfortunately, TaToH wasn't able to get enough of a foothold with any particular army. The Onager upgrade from Nicov seemed like a really clutch upgrade. And he's going to force a game number 5 on Arabia. And I think Arabia is a 50-50 map for these two players. And I just can't wait to see who's going to gut this one out and grab game number 5 for their team. Aftermath or Secret are going to gain some points here. And let's find out who's going to do it.
7 TCs for TaToH in the end. I was just sorry. I was just counting. I was like, okay, yeah, that's a lot of talent. He was trying to reboom his way into it, or like keep his economy going. But yeah, you're right. We're gonna get into this decider next, and it's gonna be super exciting because, well, it's all to play for, and it means so much more to Nicov, right? Think about the what this finals mean, or this final game means for Nicov. If he gets this win and gets into the grand final and then manages to win the grand final, hell, even just getting to the grand final is a huge bolster to AM's position in this league. Reminder to everyone, these are the standings right now without any points added from the 1v1 stage. Aftermath in 4th position with 6 points. They get a win here. They knock down out Secret here. Well, that's so interesting, right? That puts AM back in the contention for 2nd place with SY or 3rd place with Frantic. And it stops Secret getting any more points in the grand final, which then means that Frantic with Tim, who is in the semis versus VNA, has an opportunity. Versus Bacti. Frantic have an opportunity to even overtake SY and even contend Secret there for the 1st place. So things are getting hot and heavy right here as we're going to be going into 5th game, and it means so much.
Yeah, they say there's no such thing as moral victories, only actual victories. And I think Aftermath is in need of an actual victory. I don't think that taking this to 5 games or even getting to the finals is, I mean, it's certainly good enough, but is it really good enough? I think Aftermath needs to win this set of games. They're just not in a position to fall behind anymore on points. Let's see how this 5th game shapes up. The chips are on the table. It's going to be a pressure-packed game for both guys. Couldn't think of 2 better players to be going at it here in the semifinals. Can't wait for the last game, Zach. Who do you favor on Arabia? Like, what's your snap judgment? Like, if you had to say one player is 2% better than the other on Arabia, who would you pick?
I want to say Nicov. Because it's, you know, Arabia's the standard map. TaToH, I think he does thrive in the non-standard settings much more. You know, it's been TaToH, Nicov. Humans are fantastic pattern recognizers, and if that pattern tells me anything, it tells me that TaToH is going to win the last game. But that does go against my gut. I think Nicov will actually take it.
We will see. I mean, we've got the game ready now. I hope it's going to launch perfectly for you, and we'll be ready to go.
That's right. We are in game, and I'm going to let you do the intro.
Oh, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's Killer B and Zero Empires here. The Escape Champions League Middle East 1v1 tournament semifinals between TaToH and Nicov. This is the deciding game, the 5th game. All the chips are on the table, and what better map than Arabia? Anybody who knows this game should know this map. It's one of the most popular maps in the game, and we are going to see a really cool Civ matchup here, Zach. We're going to see Mayans, Aztecs, a Meso war. We've been seeing this for about 10 years now. Give me your thoughts on this. TaToH choosing the Mayans, Nicov choosing the Aztecs.
Yeah, it's like classic AOC with a twist, because of course we are still playing in Wallow Kingdoms, which means that we do have some fundamental changes to balance. But boy, I remember seeing so much Aztecs on Arabia and so much Mayans back in the days of 2015, 2014, 2013. You know, you go back and that's the staple that you would expect to see, right? But yeah, we got TaToH on the east, he's playing in the blue as the Mayans here. And then we have Nicov in the north playing in the red as the Aztecs. What are we expecting to see here? Well, the metagame has certainly shifted from the 2015 days, or before. We now have the Man-at-Arms metagame, which seems to be prevalent. And so I'd expect to see that from both of these guys. But who knows? I mean, Nicov could blindside us with a 5 militia drush and really send us back to the past. But still, for now, Nicov coming forward with his scout, looking to see what he can find. It looks like he might find the TC of TaToH. He gets a sheep. Nice. Can he get a second sheep? Yes, he can. No, he can't. Oh, intense stuff right here, Killer B.
Yeah, absolutely. And let me just confirm the colors. You have TaToH in blue or red in this game?
Blue. He's been blue this whole series, so I put it back on blue for him.
Wonderful. Okay, so I'll tell you what I think about TaToH's map on the right. He did just lose a sheep, which is annoying. But I think Arabia is one of these maps that we all know so well and the players know so well that really minute differences in maps can make a major difference in these games, and how you defend a certain resource area can really change this game. So let's first look at TaToH's map. He does have 4 villagers on that back wood line. Like you said, maybe thinking about the early militia or men-at-arms. He's got an extremely wallable set of wood lines off to the left of his TC for the later part of the game, but not really something you could try to wall early on. That's something you try to wall in the Castle Age, I think. 2 stone piles behind him, which is really nice if you're playing as Mayans and maybe you're thinking about castles and plumes. But gold safety is not really a given on this map for TaToH. So he's going to have to work pretty hard to protect things like his berries and his gold piles in this game.
Yeah, actually, I do like TaToH's map, though, to be honest. I think it's a really solid map. You know, he's got the deer behind his TC, which is great because, as we said before, we might see that Men-at-Arms militia play. And that means he's just going to have that little food boost, which is always great. As the Mayans, having the stone in the back, so valuable. There's no way for Nicov to pressure that. And as the Mayans, you're just going to be so happy with the fact that you have that safety in stone collection. And yeah, his main goal is maybe a little poking out on the left side, but this potential to wall across the middle here is huge as well, and that could secure him a huge amount of map control. And if TaToH wanted to play defensively this game, it's doable. On the other side, do you want to run us through Nikov's map?
Yeah, sure. Nicov playing in the red as the Aztecs does have 4 villagers on his back wood line as well, so we could see militia from him. He's got a nice nested berry patch behind his TC, which should be relatively safe in the early game. Behind that will be his main stone. The back of his base is somewhat open and raidable, but probably not a liability early in the game, maybe a problem later in the game. What does look like a liability is this massive hill to the northeast of his town center. Big hills near your TC that are kind of awkwardly, if they're kind of behind you, it's okay, but this could be a hill that these 2 guys could fight for. We've also got both golds for Nicov out on the front. Main and secondary gold really far out in the middle of the map. So he doesn't really have a lot to fall back on, Zach. His map is not as good as TaToH's, in my opinion.
Yeah, man, I do not like his map at all. Certainly not in comparison to TaToH's, but in general, I would not take this map. If I had the chance to re-roll, I would take it, probably. Yeah, the wood line's pretty awkward. He only has 1 wood line at the back. If he gets pushed off of that, he's in trouble. Not only that, but like you say, that hill there, it's 3 angles of attack on the wood line, on the TC, and on the gold. That's something that TaToH can abuse. And yeah, it's pretty awkward with the golds being forward as well. So we've got TaToH going for the old style drush here. 3 militia coming out. I guess he wants to just have that that speed advantage over Nicov. Nicov, on the other hand, he's up to feudal already, and he's got 2 militia coming out. I think Nicov needs to play this aggressively. With the map that TaToH has, he needs to play this aggressively, and at the moment, that aggression is going to, first of all, come from TaToH. But hey, TaToH pushing all those deer, being a little greedy, he doesn't know where Nicov is, and that's going to buy Nicov some crucial seconds to actually to get some militia out and even maybe get the Man-at-Arms upgrade.
Yeah, and having not scouted, he's going to hit one wolf, possibly two. Now it looks like one wolf will be in the way. But TaToH's going to get a little bit of serendipity on his side. I think he's going to find that mill behind Nikov's base, which is really not a place I would have expected to find militia if I was Nicov, because Nicov saw TaToH's eagle in defense pushing deer. He was trying to defend his own boars. So Nicov knows TaToH doesn't know that much about the map, but look at TaToH. He's going to kind of get a little lucky here and just roll right into the back of Nikov's base. However, Nikov's there with some palisades.
Yep, Nicov saw it. TaToH got a little close to the house, and he saw it. He's preemptively walled, and now he's on the counter-attack. We've got some gates coming up from TaToH in classic secret style, but he's been pushed off the berries, and now the pressure is on from Nicov. TaToH cannot get men-at-arms until he reaches the feudal age, so he's going to sit with those militia at the back and wait on that, but he will get men-at-arms, I'm sure. At the moment, though, Nicov sees what's going on, and, well, I mean, like I say, if you're TaToH, you could play this defensively, and he's walled up, and I think this is a perfect map to wall up.
You know what's really interesting, Zach? I was thinking of Happy Gilmore. Nicov has to play this one as it lies. He's got to hit the ball off of Bigfoot's fat foot. Sorry for the deep reference there, but he's just got a map that I really don't like. I could never imagine him making any excuses about it. Pros really never do make map excuses. But man, he's got to win one here for the Gipper against really tough odds with a map like this. He's got to beat TaToH, and I think it's just a great dramatic moment. We're going to see pressure from Nicov. We're going to see if he can get inside TaToH's base. But man, oh man, this type of drama is great. Yeah. I love that this game does not have perfectly even map generation in every match. It really makes for some good drama.
I agree completely. And you know, I'm disappointed TaToH didn't get men-at-arms. He could have killed villagers there on that gold, but instead he's going to be pushed away. And now I think, you know, Nicov needs to make a decision here. Does he tower his gold, or does he put a tower on TaToH's gold? And I think that decision actually has been made for him, because TaToH is towering his own gold here. And we're going to see Nicov coming forward with a villager, and I think he does want to think about towering the gold anyway. He does see the tower in defense from TaToH, but he recognizes TaToH's playing this defensively. He sees the walls. He's now seeing, I imagine he will see even, stone walls very soon. But like I say, with that stone in the back, you're just so obliged in TaToH's position to stone wall up and just abuse your map as much as you can. And now it's on Nicov to do the damage, basically.
And TaToH's going for it. It's you could call it greedy, but it's probably the right play here. He's stonewalling and going to the back stone. The front gold is the only real liability for TaToH. That's his only gold within the walls. And right now, Nicov is going to tower it. And if he can range that gold, he could actually put a spanner in the works, as Zero Empires would say.
Very big wrench coming TaToH's way, but I don't think that tower is in range, but fletching is on the way, which could change the status quo a little bit. Maybe you can hit these ones in the corner, but yeah, that gold is the biggest liability TaToH has. Other than that, his wood should be safe enough, his stone is safe, and he has plenty of safe farms. Now I think this is, it's kind of working for Nicov as well. Actually, look, he's actually forced him off of gold, so that's really good for Nicov. But yeah, don't you think it's interesting? Because Nicov kind of is happy with the fact that TaToH is sitting back, because his own map is so bad that he doesn't want to have the headache of trying to wall this and trying to defend this. So TaToH's just giving him that for free. And meanwhile, Nicov has great map control. He can range the gold, and TaToH's strat, it's kind of risky. But if it pays off, he could win the game with the castle and plumed archers.
Yeah, it is always interesting to see these games. It's basically, can you crack into your opponent's base and do enough damage to slow down their greedy eco-based play? Right now, that main gold being taken away from TaToH is absolutely massive. It keeps Nicov really afloat. And I think your point is really good. If your map is really open and undefendable, the best thing you can hope for is that your opponent will try to boom. I mean, they're not punishing all the weaknesses that you are worried about trying to defend. Yeah. So right now, Nicov with map control, probably going to be later to the castle age, I would guess. But yeah, this is anybody's game, Zach. I'm really excited to see how this shapes up. Right now, though, what is TaToH going to do for gold? What's the plan? Looks like a market.
It's a problem. I mean, he's going to have to sell some wood, maybe sell some food. He's had to build a second tower as well, which is going to hurt his stone situation with you know, making the castle. And yeah, Nikov's trying to keep the pressure up. I would have liked to see a tower on the farms from Nicov, but the defensive tower from TaToH there now is going to prevent that. Nicov, meanwhile, wheelbarrow coming in, and I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if the castle times aren't too different. Obviously, TaToH is ahead in resources right now, but Aztec farmers, man, they are fast, they're furious, and they will get the food banked. That's one thing they'll do.
I just picture them farming with like really intense looks on their face.
I will get this corn home for supper. Like, you know, they're very determined farmers, the Aztecs.
Winter's coming, so they got to get it ready. Yeah, I think it's a spot-on analysis. Right now, Nikov's roaming around trying to keep damage coming in. Wheelbarrow will come in for him now. Nikov's on 400 food, 250 gold. TaToH's going to click up to castle any moment. He's got the resources already. As you said, he had to spend some stone, which is always a good thing. If your opponent is turtling up and you know they want to drop a castle, make them waste some stone on some defensive towers. Nikov's done a pretty good job so far, but TaToH will eventually castle drop that main gold, I suppose, and basically win back his side and start to feel a little more comfortable.
Yeah, I mean, the towers have slowed him down a little bit, but he will be able to build the castle anyway. Look at that back wood line, by the way. That's interesting. Very, very messy, but it's somehow working. Look at that. Like, it's hardly any blocking or idle time. That's quite an interesting wood line right there. Anyway, yes, TaToH will be able to add the castle. He might even add TCs because he's got so much wood in the bank right now. Nicov hasn't been able to do that much damage, and his castle time is slower than I expected, to be honest. I thought he would be up by now, so a little disappointed by that.
Yeah, one of the really nice things, though, about this that I think Nicov is going to be okay because of it is that TaToH needs the time to build his castle and then start to get his plumes out. And Nicov will probably be castled with crossbow by then. And if he needs to retreat, he can because he's standing in front of TaToH's base. So all of these factors together may compensate for the uptime difference, but it is almost 2 minutes difference. So we'll keep an eye on it. Interestingly, second range from TaToH here, Zach.
Yeah, I was actually going to jump to that as well. He's going Scurbs, so he knows that he needs to basically clean up this army from Nicov, if he can, and then he can try and push out, maybe build some TCs as well. It's awkward, right? He's got all this wood, and actually this is why he has so much wood as well, because he needs to sell some of the stuff so he can get some gold. You know, it's not like archers and crossbow would even be an option for him anyway. So it's kind of working well for Nicov at the moment. The second TC will come up, and the third TC probably not going to come up for a bit because he probably wants to build that near his gold pile if possible.
Yeah, like you said, you know, elite skirm are kind of the remedy to this situation. TaToH's got to push back a little bit. He's still going to be waiting on the stone for a castle since he just spent 100. That will slow him down even a bit more. But his second town center will be up, and he'll be able to, in theory, he should be able to push back some of these crossbows from Nicov. Nikov's castle age will be in just a moment. Nikov's front gold is still sticking out there like a sore thumb to me. Yeah. I think we'll see a TC there pretty quickly.
Yeah, absolutely. It has to be. And he's keeping his army there as well so that he doesn't get caught out by TaToH coming across. And indeed, TaToH is coming straight across. Interestingly, though, it's a siege workshop. So we're going to see Nicov being very aggressive. Oh, he's only just getting double bit axe. That's a huge mistake. Man, that's huge. Like the amount of wood he would have in the bank right now if he actually did double bit axe when he was supposed to do it, he'd be dropping a second TC already. But still, the siege workshop's interesting. Looks like we're going to see more aggression from him. And he's even taking quite a bit of stone as well. So maybe even a castle drop to follow up. Castles for the Mayans, much more valuable than castles for the Aztecs. But there you go. The TC coming up on the gold. The crossbow's in and the mangonel's out.
Yeah, and two things worth noting. TaToH has started to build his castle on the front gold of his base, which is where you would have expected it. I'm sure Nicov was ready for this as well. Nicov is going to lose his tower, and TaToH will take back his gold pile. On the note of gold, if you go to Nikov's point of view and you look at the fog of war, he's actually kind of, you could call it unluckily, missing a gold pile in the left corner of his base. He's got a gold pile behind his walls, but the fog of war just barely hiding it.
You never know. He might find it with that villager if it walks back. We'll see. But yeah, that's a really unfortunate thing. He should find it eventually. I mean, he knows he's missing a gold, so he'll probably look for it when the time comes. For now, though, Eagle Scout's coming out as well. The third TC for Nicov coming forward. And with TC placements like this, Nicov absolutely has to keep the map control. He needs to see what TaToH's up to at all times and know if he's leaving his base, because Eco is very exposed out here and very risky position for him. TaToH looks like he's going for a second castle actually as well, and we'll see if he can actually
Zach,
build that outside. Go ahead.
We got a mango for TaToH on the right side of his base. He's not going to pop it out in time. My apologies. I just wanted to check in and see if there was going to be a massive mangonel shot, but we are not going to see that. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, no problem. So I'm wondering where TaToH will go for the second castle here. And it looks like TaToH, instead of going for like 5 TCs like last game, he'll do 2 TCs and a couple of castles, make some plumes, and try and take map control. But yeah, it's going to take him a little while to get the plume numbers up. Fortunately for him, they do counter the crossbows very nicely, and they even do well against eagles as well because they get bonus damage, of course. So we'll see how that goes, but obviously Nicov should be getting ahead with the economy soon since he has the 3rd TC up and running.
Yeah, it's a very good point. We'll have to keep an eye out on Nikov's basically safety and scouting. He still hasn't found that back gold, unfortunately for him, but he'll find it. Right now, it doesn't matter. We'll keep an eye on that for the later part of the game. Everything is kind of shaken out, Zach, how you and I might have expected it to. TaToH took advantage of a really good map. That's not surprising. He's starting to get the plumes going. Nikov's done some good aggressive damage in the feudal age. I think it's anybody's game to win here. But doesn't it feel like both shoes are on the wrong feet? Like, it feels like, aren't we used to TaToH trying to break into Nikov's base in this situation? Like, their play styles seem to be reversed here. It's very interesting.
Yeah, it does. And a nice split there from TaToH, trying to micro this Mangonel down. And he's got the army advantage here, but Mangonel a little bit too scary, especially since there's another one coming over. But yeah, you're right. The thing I'm worried about here is that Mayans are Mayans. And he can play this with like 75 villagers. And he's at 70 now. If he goes Imp, then he can do double castle archer, plumed archers with Bracer as soon as he hits Imp. And he can probably win the game from there. That's the scary part of the Mayans. They really don't need much economy at all. And he's almost got the economy he needs right now to actually go. I mean, I've seen players, Mayans, on like 75 vills, like 120 plumed archers.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and the second castle is coming. The university is coming. Imperial Age is coming. All of these things are adding up to a big plume push. I love that as a quote for you, Zach. A wise man once said, Mayans are Mayans.
True that. But, you know, Aztecs are really strong as well. I just, you know, in this matchup, it's kind of tough. They got to do the damage. And with TaToH having such an up to Imp here, we're going to have a lot of plumes out. And the last thing you want is the Mayan player to mass up a lot of plumes.
Yeah, absolutely. Nicov right now is adding in a castle on the front. He needs that to come down. He's trying to defend that area with a couple of mangonels and some crossbows. Should be able to get that done, but it is starting to be about the time that TaToH's going to start to push out. TaToH's got a snuck army on the left side, but it's mostly walled out of doing any damage, so no big storyline there. It seems like the fight in the center of the map could be very hot and heavy here in just a few moments. Nikov's going to have to continue to hold a map that's been a little rough for him early on. I think he's solidified the position a bit. He's given himself a chance to win in the Imperial Age, and we'll see if he can pull this one out. Right now, I do like TaToH's position better, though.
Yeah, absolutely. He's got more military on the map. He's doing double plumed archer production. He doesn't need elite plumed archer in the early Imperial Age. It's a great tech, but he will be able to manage with Bracer and Chemistry. That's going to be enough damage to take out Nikov's army. And wow, nice 2-for-1 trade with the Mangonels there as well. Yeah, it's going to be tough. I mean, if Nicov can last, then he could have a good shot at this, but he has to last, and he has to make sure the damage from TaToH isn't too huge. We're going to see Conscription, we're going to see a Treb, we're going to see Chemistry, we're going to see Bracer. That's just the typical Mayan thing to do when you have a low economy like this, but you still get the power spike from upgrading those plumed archers.
Yeah, two siege workshops down for Nicov. Continued mangonel production. Does seem like he's going to try to defend this with a little bit of mangonel, maybe going further down that line with upgrades. But will he have time? Like you said, the plumes are so fast and they're so cheap that they should be knocking on the door. Chemistry on the way. TaToH will even grab Conscription to pump them out even faster. The Trebs are unpacking, Zach, and Nikov's going to have to make some big plays here. He's really, really going to have to earn his meal in this game.
I mean, the problem is he doesn't have the means to, because he's fielding crossbow. What does he do with crossbow against plumes and skirms? That's 2 counter units to what you're making. And you know, I think what he needs is probably Onager, to be honest, in this game. Like last game, Onager. There it is. It's Onager straight away. And that's the only real way. If he can just keep his castle up, get Onager, and start to like slow push with the Onagers, that's a good chance for him. But now there's 3 castles out. Now the raiding's going to start. He's going to get ranged behind this wood line. There's going to be plumes trying to find a way through his eco and get to his wood at the back. And we'll see how that goes. I don't know if that was a misclick from Nicov, but he's added a Jaguar warrior for good measure. This is just the leader, you know. He's going to be inspiring the men.
You know, all we can do, Zach, is give these guys a chance to do something legendary, and maybe Nicov can do something really special here. Onager upgrade is coming. Maybe a couple big Onager shots could help his situation a lot. That upgrade's going to be done in just a second. 3 big shots, decent damage there.
It's not bad. It's not bad. I mean, I would love to see Siege Onager, but that's just way too expensive at this stage of the game. But damn, his Onager got stuck against the gold pile and the crossbows. But he will take down the mangonels, and now he can start pushing with the Onagers a little bit more, going for the Trebs. Really got to keep those Onagers alive, though. Maybe some repairs could be good. But the castle does go down. Castle for the Aztecs, not really that important. The main thing that castle did was stall, and that has served its purpose now for the Onagers to come out. So we are in a position now where the raiding's going to start, though, and this is what I was talking about before. The problem of the plumes running into the back of your economy.
Aye. They just run right under the TC, because who even cares? They're just tanky enough and fast enough to do this, and they're going to walk right into the back of that eco now from Nicov. Nicov will get the Trebs down. He will lose the castle as expected, but oh boy, not ideal. Elite plumed archer on the way.
Yep, this is what he needs to do, though. He needs to stop those Trebs and needs to delay. But the problem is, you know, without his own castle, you know, I say, hey, he doesn't need the castles so much, but he does need to take the castles from TaToH down. And to do that, you're either going to need Trebs or you're going to need Rams. And if you're Nicov in this situation, I think you go Siege Ram anyway, because you're against the Mayans. Why would you not go Siege Ram? Skirms, Siege Rams, Onagers, that's the play. But it's going to take him a lot longer to get there than it is for TaToH to run around the map raiding his eco all day. So it's a dicey situation for Nicov.
Yeah, absolutely. Nicov, on the way to ballistics, is trying to clean up things with skirmishers, elite skirms in the back of his base as much as possible. Still hanging on a 7 or 8 villager lead, but boy, that military number. It's only 20 plus for TaToH. That's a big number, but it's the mobility of those units. I mean, chasing around elite plumes with skirms is just not fun at all. There's nothing fun about that. And right now,
nice shots though. Ooh. You should never discount the Onagers, man. They can do the damage. All it takes is one juicy shot, and they can really start to equalize things. Obviously, the plumed archers, however, they're so cheap. They're so replaceable.
You know what, though? There was one super good shot and a couple of really good glancing blows there from Nicov, getting some good value out of it. TaToH, in the meanwhile, though, is still in the back of Nikov's base. He's still harassing him there. Oh, a couple more good Onager shots here on the front.
I missed that, but yeah, you're right. Didn't manage to get one last shot off before he died. The Jaguar warrior did die, but I'm happy to say he's been replaced. His brother has now taken his position. The big problem for Nicov there is that he didn't have upgrades on his skirms. He doesn't have +2 defense even yet. It's just coming in. And that's huge. If he had +2 defense and probably +4, he would have cleaned up all these units in the back of his base. He was fighting downhill. He had good numbers. And +4 would have saved the day. But as it stands, he just doesn't have the upgrades yet. It's taking him too long. And that's another side effect, I guess, of falling behind in that upgrade time. But hey, the Treb's out, and the castle from from TaToH will be under fire in just a moment. Nikov's hanging on in there by a thread, but he is hanging on nevertheless.
Hanging on by a thread, indeed. TaToH is going to take the advantage that he's gained, and he's going to start to transition to Eagle Warriors. He's dropped down a couple barracks on the front of his base, and he's starting to grab the upgrades. It will take him some time to get that done, but I think the plumes can get a lot of annoyance in to basically run interference. You know, keep your opponent busy while you transition.
pretty much. I mean, look, there's still 2 plumes in the back here. So many dead villas from Nicov. Nicov, however, does have more villagers on the map. Obviously, that's going to be banking him a few more resources. But yes, the switch into Eagles. I think Nicov knows it's coming. That's why he added some Jaguars, but he doesn't have enough Jaguars. And in this situation, I guess he would wish he had more more castles. But nice! Onager shots! That's what I want to see. He'll take down his own Treb, but he'll kill all of the Eagles. And so it was worth it. That's worth it. You know, he's got another Treb to follow this up. The Onagers doing what the Onagers do best.
In the meantime, TaToH has gone end around with about 20 elite plumes. He's running right through the middle of Nikov's base, and he's starting to get closer to the main artery of that economy. That back area where Nicov is taking all of that wood is actually his only good wood line, and Nicov is going to be, unfortunately, inspired to give the GG at this point in the game. A really great 5-game series here, Zach.
Absolutely.
TaToH will take the win with the Mayans.
GG, TaToH. Close series, 3-2. I think you got to favor the Mayans going into this matchup because they do have that sort of early Imperial edge that you can get. I mean, and, you know, he had a map which played perfectly into this strategy, walling up, defending, throwing down the castles, spamming the plumes. But there you go. TaToH will make it through to the grand final. Guys, we're going to have that grand final today. We will see TaToH later on this evening, so make sure you stick around for that. That's going to be super exciting. But we need to find out who he's going to be playing against. It's going to be Tim or BackT, depending on who wins the other semi-final, which is coming up next. So make sure you stay tuned in for that. But geez, Nicov played so well this series. It was a close series, and it's a really tough situation for him. This matchup is really rough. Didn't have a good map. He did well, I think. And I think, as you say, the plumed archers in the back just inspiring him to call the GG there, as he has no real answer to those with his own skirms dying or being out of position.
As they say on the streets of Brooklyn, Mayans are Mayans, bro. Mayans are Mayans.
Well, I've never been to Brooklyn, so I can't say with any certainty that that is what they do say out there, but I'll take your word for it.
Yeah. Well, you can't say with any certainty that they don't say it, right? So, yeah.
True. I can't prove it either way. So, yeah, we're going to have TaToH in the grand final. That's a fantastic news for Team Secret. Unfortunate for Team Aftermath. This was their shot at getting themselves back into things. There's still a lot of events still to come, and we could certainly see Aftermath making a comeback in the leaderboards, but that's a little bit of a blow for them, as we saw Leary going out earlier on in the quarters, and now Nicov eliminated in the semis. A quick look at the stats. TaToH killing the most units. Economy-wise, he had the edge there as well. And, well, he just had the edge across the board, really. The only thing that he was lacking was the villagers in the end. But doesn't matter. Still gathered more resources anyway. Still made more military anyway. Still won the game anyway. So there you have it. Game number 5, TaToH victory. TaToH into the grand finals. We'll take a look at the brackets now so you can see how we got to this point. And there it is for you all to see. I'm going to make the brackets a little bigger. They could be a bit bigger. Let's do that. There we go.
Yeah, it's been a great tournament so far, Zach. Sorry. Just wanted to jump in and say that Tim versus Leary set was really, really special. And I hope Tim can give us something special against BackT coming up. Can't wait to see it.
Yep, as you said earlier on in the stream, you know, that's kind of an interesting match. I don't think I've seen these guys play each other for a long while. And obviously, both players, I don't know, I don't want to say they've been out of shape, but they've not been like putting in those stellar performances that we've seen from them in the past. You know, they've kind of been outshined by the Learys, the MBLs, the TaToHs of the world. And now it's their time to shine like a star in the semi-finals, game or set 2. To see who goes up against TaToH in the grand finals. That's what's going to be coming up next. We do have just a couple of minutes here. I'm just going to quickly grab a drink, and that's your opportunity to do so as well. Get a drink, get refreshed, and join us for the second semi-final in a few minutes' time. I'm going to put a 4-minute timer up here. Don't need too long to get a drink and do that. But yeah, we'll be back in just a minute. Quick shout out to those people who've supported the stream by subbing. Thanks Snape Snaps for the gift subs, gifting to Crash Overdrive. Gretchgo for the sub. The Pico with $5. Thanks for the gift sub, though I usually watch this on TV, so I'm not doing much chatting. Well, that's absolutely fine. We appreciate the donation, and we hope you can use your sub eventually anyway. Thank you to Big Totty Bowski for the sub. Iceman 919 as well. And we'll be right back with our next set, Tim versus Backed, starting on Bedouins. Also, enter our giveaway to win an HTC Vive Pro. The link is below the stream. Click on it now. Do it now. And you can win the future. The best virtual reality headset on the market. Would cost you $1,400. But we're giving away one for free, so why not? Why not have a go? Could be you. All you gotta do is click on the link below the stream. Easy. Can it play AOC? Actually, yes, it can. I actually played Age of Empires in virtual reality. It didn't work very well. It was kind of clunky, and I wouldn't do it again, but it's possible. So, to answer your question, yes, absolutely. Absolutely, it can play AOC.
All we need now is some pain sensors. So like when a villager dies, you get like a little needle poke in the arm, you know?
Yeah, someone's watched Ready Player One.
Oh, yeah.
Man, I was watching that film on the plane to TwitchCon last week. And it was awesome. I really liked that film. I think it was really cool.
This next set of games brought to you by Ready Player One in theaters near you.